Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Coofcast. I'm gonna coof.
Such a coofer. Such a coofer.
It's in my bones.
Boy.
It's in my blood. Born to coof.
I sure hope nobody listening to this knows anyone who died of coronavirus. Because there's a lot of people like that.
I mean, that's true. There's no irreverence here. There's nothing but respect for our brave men and women on the front lines.
This cough I got, legendary.
They're gonna know a lot of people who died from corona because we're all gonna die.
How are you fucking?
It happens.
If you don't know anyone who died of coronavirus, just wait till next week. Tune in.
Tune in. All of us will be dead.
Yeah. We're just gonna talk about coofin culture, coofin lifestyles, all kinds of things related to that: disease, death, pestilence, debilitation, and
terrible idea for a fucking bonus episode. It sucks. Why are we doing it?
It's good. I have stories about sickness.
I actually have remembered something I could talk about. I'm not very good at pretending.
There we go.
Did you see Econ's video about the COVID-19 and China?
I did.
Nope.
I did. I enjoyed it. Good work, Econ.
He talked about how as a half Chinese person, or maybe he's entirely Chinese, but he lives in America. Mm-hmm. But he's been to China a lot of times, and he's seen the environments the sort of places that
he was born there, as I recall. He's a native.
Yeah, he's seen the wet markets and the food stalls and the weird things that they have there, and he's just sort of grown up knowing that that's just how it is. People in America, they're a stickler for health, those guys, and he saw it as if I choose to eat some weird mystery meat in a Chinese market, that's on me if I get sick, and that's just part of the charm, That's how he and all Chinese people view that thing, because it's a cultural thing. But obviously, that breeds plagues when you keep live animals and dead animals in the same place like that. It's gonna breed diseases, and SARS and now COVID-19. It's no longer is it an individual's responsibility if they get sick. You could infect the entire world with that sort of behavior. So he was criticizing China, and it was interesting because I'd not considered that sort of perspective of the Chinese people, who generally seem to be defensive and we want the wet markets, we want this stuff to be continuing, and the government's we should keep this being the same because this is our culture, and the other rest of the world, they're just racist. They just are racist to us. It's
even if it's
not the whole story.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was pretty nuanced point, but he was pretty much just obviously, this practice is not good. Even if Corona-19 or whatever was not directly from these, old ones have been, so it wouldn't be a stretch. So he's just we're gonna keep doing it. But it is probably a bad idea, so whatever. I mean, that's life, baby. Basically, he was saying on your three-dimensional, cringe-based, galaxy brain, smooth brain, virgin Chad axis, it's fully based, very smooth brain, and probably a little bit Chad.
Doesn't China have an authoritarian government?
Indeed, they
as
do.
far as I know.
Why don't they put regulations in place to change these wet markets so they won't be like this anymore?
Because too deep in there.
They don't care about the well-being of the people.
They surely care about the fact that their own fucking country was ravaged by a pandemic.
Yeah, it is weird.
No, because this was developed in a biolab, and they unleashed it on everybody on purpose. And this is all part of the plan.
To eliminate the semen of the white race throughout the West. I understand. I agree. Agree.
Naturally.
I think it wasn't that they see they're not literally authoritarian. They I don't know. I can't remember.
Does any of us actually know what China's government's like? I have no idea.
Does anybody know what China's government is like?
I don't know.
how much are we expected to know about that?
Yeah.
I think they are no fans of Taiwan's independence or something, right?
The thing is, it's really just that Econ is Chinese, and he's been to China, and he has family in China, and he speaks Chinese, so I think he would know a little bit better than most people talking about coronavirus.
I think he's pretty biased. He likes China, but he's still like, yeah, obviously there's some negatives of this shit, guys. And also, he's definitely doing a little bit of the, I don't need you guys to defend us. Like, we got it. Like, sure, there's some racism, but I got it under control. In fact, I love it. Big fan. Big fan.
I mean, it just seems like really obvious. Like, okay, if these conditions are breeding... If these conditions, like, for the same reason that we've locked down America, it's because the things we were doing were going to spread the plague. So it's like, hey, guys, we got to stop doing it.
Well, Ben,
so, like, put regulations in place to like,
I mean,
so that this doesn't happen again. Like, is that not what the government is for?
Our brethren in the Judaic community are stealing the foreskins of innocent men, but we have to respect that cultural practice, even though they're just hoarding
who's stealing foreskins?
The Jews, right? I mean,
the
they
Chinese.
love that shit. And
that's what they sell at the markets.
Hashtag give them back. Hashtag give them back.
I've read that circumcision has some pretty good like benefits associated with it.
It's pretty galaxy brain based.
It's whatever.
Speaking of
if circumcision was bad, if it was like agreed, if everyone agreed that it was bad, the way we agree that pandemics are bad, then yeah, I think they should ban the fucking practice.
I could not care less, but I find it hilarious.
Did anybody see Mayor de Blasio's tweet? Speaking of the Jews, someone posted.
Did you say hashtag
Discord.
give them back?
Oh God,
he should.
I think it was because
what's de Blasio the mayor of again?
New York,
right?
Yeah. Oh,
I think
okay.
I think it was in
Cuomo
reference.
is the governor, right?
I believe so.
Of the
yes,
state?
that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I think this was in reference to talking about like synagogue gatherings at synagogues and stuff, and he just says, "My message to the Jewish community and all communities." Is this simple. The time for warnings has passed. I have instructed the NYPD to proceed immediately to summons or even arrest those who gather in large groups. This is about stopping this disease and saving lives. Period. And it's just like...
I get it, right? It makes sense. Gatherings are not good for the pandemic.
Gatherings are illegal, but why do you have to specifically address it to the Jews?
But did he need to also be firing up the ovens while making that tweet?
To open with my message to the Jewish community. It's just like...
I've had it up to here with you, Pete.
It applies to everyone. So just say everyone.
Yeah.
I
like he immediately
that
says that in the next part of the sentence. Like, just cut that first part, bro.
Just seems indelicate.
Yeah. I could only imagine it's like in response to a recent thing where a Jewish community has like got coronavirus and he's like responding to that, but he doesn't make that clear.
No,
and he just says to the Jews.
Yeah, just like
this just in, guys. Politician made a faux pas, and I'm here to let you know about it. This is BuzzFeedNews.com. Please. Please.
Comment, subscribe.
Well, listen, that's all great, but I want to talk about dying of disease and getting sick, which I have personally experienced.
I'm so scared
in my life.
I'm so fucking scared, you guys.
You know, that's interesting. I'm not scared at all.
Why?
I'm really not. Because because I personally feel that I won't be affected, and also,
I probably won't. I'll probably won't get COVID-19. But I could.
You could, and you could die. You know, it's possible.
I could die.
It's possible.
It's not that likely.
I saw a article saying that now one of the new symptoms that's popping up is that people who in their 30s to 40s can get the coronavirus, a very mild case, and they'll recover. But then they will die later from a stroke. That apparently it makes them much more prone to strokes, and a bunch of people in our age group have died from strokes from complications of coronavirus.
Like how much later?
I don't know. I didn't.
It's gotta be weeks or months.
Yeah, this virus has only existed for a couple months.
I'm assuming it's not like years or something, but like I would assume like you'd get a mild case and then X amount of time later.
Oh God, there's nothing that upsets me more than strokes.
Yeah, right.
No.
It's just like
no.
I logged into Tumblr for like the first time in like fucking 3 years, and that's the first post. It was like a link to a news article talking about that, and I'm just like, I don't need to see this.
Guys, I'm gonna fucking gonna have a fucking episode over here.
You're staying home. I'm sure you're wearing your gloves when you go out.
I am.
Odds are very, very likely you won't even get it. And if you do, you'll be fine.
It's probably true.
It's like the first time I've been happy to live in the middle of nowhere.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
I
Makes
am.
sense.
Yeah, no, my like district or my fucking county or whatever, it actually has like a pretty sizable amount of cases. Like it is.
Not surprised.
It is here because like I'm pretty close to Boston, so like no, it's not. It's not negligible the amount of COVID that's been in my fucking town.
It's in Cincy as well. I think there was some. I mean, it's just affected my personal life none at all. I mean, I'm not saying that's good or you shouldn't be concerned. It's just. I just didn't go out already, and I still don't. And the store does have less stuff, and people are wearing masks now, so that's good. That's about it.
Yep. I mean, same. Now there's a line outside Whole Foods, and it does affect me a little bit because now I go to Whole Foods because it's more convenient and because I don't have to ride a bus.
Sure.
But the Whole Foods is more expensive. I used to shop at Aldi or what was that other one, Market Basket or whatever, which were cheaper. So it's costing me a little money, but it's fine. Good thing I got
money
that
now
stimulus check.
is worth not seeing as many people on a bus for sure.
I'd pay a little more for that.
Yeah. No,
Ben,
for
aren't you getting unemployment? Did you file for it? Did you get it?
Did you get it?
I haven't applied yet.
Well, you got the I was amazed that you got the the disaster relief.
Yeah, the
something?
SBA loan or the SBA grant. I don't know how that happened, but I did. That was pretty
that's cool.
I applied for that. I didn't get it. I did apply for unemployment. I did get that. Very based.
Michelle's work was also closed, so she's also filed for that, waiting for it.
See,
I told her to file, and she did.
I haven't filed yet because I'm just like, I'm not losing like too much money. I guess.
Well, the only thing about that, Tom, is I believe that these things are time bound, and at least in Ohio, if you wait too long, you can miss your window,
might be. I think. There is a. I mean, I don't think we're at the. It will eventually stop. Like eventually, they will stop giving the like expanded benefits, but like not yet.
Yeah,
like you're fine if you apply now.
The follow up to that was that one of my patrons messaged me today and just gave me this big like spiel, just like, oh god, like my job, I got fucked up, I can't afford to patron anybody anymore, so I have to like leave. I'm sorry. I'm just like, here I go. I have a paper trail. I can prove that I've been negatively affected by COVID-19.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Let's fucking tell our fucking patrons who might be listening to this, if you lost your job and you are an American, you should definitely file for pandemic unemployment assistance. I know there's a lot of people who like just wouldn't think to do it.
Oh yeah.
On top of like people who maybe might think that they shouldn't do it or something. Like it's wrong or
normally
whatever.
speaking, if I like lost my job, I would feel like a thing like, oh no, this is my fault if I was bad. But this is no one's fault. This is the government telling you, so there's no reason not to.
I mean, this is well, like I don't think you generally get unemployment insurance if you get like fired for like a good reason. Like you have to be like laid off from no fault of your own, right?
Sure.
Which is what's happening now. If you lost your job or you're working less now because of the virus, this is like you pay like you or your employer, like they take money out of your paychecks to put into unemployment insurance so that if you lose your job through no fault of your own, you can then collect that in times when you're unemployed. So this is what it's for. Sense. And if you don't do it, you're really screwing yourself, and you're really like the system's there for a reason. You should take advantage of it
for times like this.
I really wonder if they have an equivalent. I don't know. Like, I'm not really like obviously negatively affected because I can do all of my work from home anyway. But I don't know.
I mean, if you lost patrons, I mean, it's affecting kind of everybody. I'm not sure how much
if you lost patrons, like I don't know, like take the phrase like affected by COVID-19 and like it doesn't require any more specific. You don't have to like show an exact calculation of I lost exactly this much money because of COVID-19 and I can prove it scientifically.
Well, that being said, so go take a look at that, folks.
Patrons, if you're thinking about unpatroning, go file for unemployment instead.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Well, that being said,
I do want to say. So okay. I find this kind of stuff interesting. there was another thing that me and Tom talked about. It was the Payroll Protection Program, which you can apply for through a bank or through PayPal. Apparently, you can apply for this through PayPal, but what it's for is if you're a business, but that includes a sole proprietorship, like you or me, like someone who just works for themselves. You can apply for a loan that you are supposed to use for certain things like rent, mortgage payments, and in particular payroll, like paying your employees or paying your own salary. And if you do that, there's a couple more conditions, but generally, if you do that with it, then you just tell them, okay, I spent the money on this. They'll say, okay, whatever you spent on that, that's forgiven. You don't have to pay it back. So I was going to do that because I was thinking, like, well, I have rent. I have to pay myself. But I've decided for the time being not to apply to that one because then I would have to report that, yes, I am paying myself this amount of payroll. And I'm pretty sure that then that would cancel my eligibility for unemployment. So
I see.
I can do one or the other. I can't do both. So I've already got the unemployment.
Could the PCP as an entity, because it's paying all of us, could that
if we are a legal entity, then yes. I don't know what it takes to be considered a legal entity.
I
know we're not like a registered LLC or anything.
We should do that.
There might not be required. Like
for this particular thing, I wouldn't think so.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you can
like
apply
an
for
individual,
yourself.
like an individual doesn't legally have to announce that they are like self-employed.
I think I don't know if it would work 100%. Like nothing is guaranteed, but I think if the PCP did qualify for this payroll protection loan, we could get a bunch of free money to just pay ourselves with it.
I do like free money.
That is pretty based, I would say. I must say,
because we are a business and we have payroll and we have payroll expenses, and
that is true.
That is what this is for.
An interesting question.
I looked into it, but it was the how exactly to apply as an organization was the stumbling block that I didn't get past.
Perhaps accountant aunt would know something about this. I don't know.
That's a great point.
account aunt.
I have been
Accountant. Oh, that's a good one.
She is. I have been meaning to call her for months and months and months about that hospital bill that I never paid, but mysteriously just stopped hearing anything about.
I guess that's fine.
The Gestapo's going to come for you tonight.
Well, they can't charge me interest. What I expected to happen was that they would pass the bill on to a collections agency and I would start getting letters. But I contested one of the two bills. They said, okay, we accept your contestation. We will contact you when it's resolved. I was never contacted again. So I assume that one's just in limbo. The other one was never resolved. And yet it too, I simply stopped getting notifications on. But they can't charge me interest. Medical bills, they're not allowed to charge you interest on a hospital bill. So it's not like it's accruing interest as I ignore it or anything. At the worst that can happen is I'll just have to pay it later.
All right.
Which is fine.
Not too bad.
But I'm kind of just hoping I fell through the cracks and they forgot about it. Haha.
That
one can only hope.
nice.
Yeah.
They're just gonna come back and break your leg again.
And then I'll have to go to the hospital and pay them even more to set it.
I like.
But I have Massachusetts insurance now, so fuck them.
Right. That is good. Now that accountant has a name, a meme name, which is good, I can refer to her more easily. And still, to this day, I've given Digi all the contact information for accountant, and he has not contacted her, even though, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Isn't he, not paying his taxes, how many years have gone by? I don't understand.
Of course he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't even, filed for insurance. He doesn't even have health insurance. Which he could easily afford.
Yeah.
I suspect he could easily afford it. I don't know.
I'm somewhat sympathetic. I have a flat tire right now, and just the car's been parked. I haven't driven in days. I notice I have a flat tire. It's been 3 days. I know I need to call AAA, get them to drive me to a tire store, and I'm like, oh fuck.
It's not like I don't. It's not like I don't understand the urge to procrastinate. Obviously,
indeed.
But having gone through some
procrastinate, you say? Bring the gong.
Having gone through some bullshit with hospital bills while uninsured, I would really recommend anyone who does not make sure you get something if you can. It will has the real potential to save you a lot of
will-
heartache.
I will say in a similar vein, if you're like working for yourself, like we all are, become like legally recognized, like be like a DBA or a like a legal sole proprietorship or an LLC, because every time I do anything with taxes, it's a nightmare. And like health insurance too, they're just like, okay, so we just need some of your pay stubs. I'm like, I don't have pay stubs, I work for myself. It's like, okay, we just need to like your tax information and shit. It's like, well, my tax information's like kind of weird because I just get paid basically kind of under the table, but not really. And they're like, handwrite something for us and like sign it, and maybe we'll get back to you in like a year. I'm just like,
there
oh
was
my
a
God.
time when I just went on Patreon and just like printed out my monthly like report, just printed it out on printer paper and used that in place of pay stubs. I was surprised that like it worked. Like the first lady at the counter was like, we can't accept this, and I was like, can I talk to someone else? And they did, and that person was like, yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, that's the whole thing though. There's like there's no like set protocol for what we do. So you're really, it's just a luck of the draw if anyone's going to like give a fuck about you at all.
Yeah, basically.
You know, this is all very interesting. I'm sorry, but I'm still
still sick with COVID-19 and I need a
true.
ventilator, please.
I'm almost as sick as dealing with bureaucracy as I am with dealing with this fucking virus. Oh God.
You know what our government did? You know what our government did on developing a fucking cure, on preventative measures? They procrastinated. This is the new thing. This is the new thing.
Bell?
When someone
procrastinates,
Michelle got me a gong a while ago. It's been sitting above my desk, and now here's the new thing. Whenever anyone procrastinates, I'm gonna hit the gong, and that's what's gonna happen.
A little like drumstick.
It's a very small like Chinese drum on like this cute little Asian stand thing. And I don't know what it sounds like because it's pretty far from the mic, but hopefully it sounds good. And here's the thing, you know, Birth of a God from Final Fantasy VII?
No. I don't fucking know what you're
talking about. It sounds like
da
da da da da da da da da da da. Yeah, I believe that's during the Genova. No, it's Bizarro Sephiroth fight. Right. That song, it's Birth of a God. This is Birth of a Meme.
Okay.
With the gong. There.
Good place to birth the meme on a bonus episode, so most people
you
won't
want to talk about Coofcast? You want to talk about disease? Okay, forget the remake. I'm not even concerned about that. But overall, the plot and themes and story and world of Final Fantasy VII is riddled with coofs. It's riddled with disease and bile and bio.
What are you talking about?
It's a gross, cough-filled, smoky, cyber, crypto, techno fuck-up world where Genova's cells are giving everyone infections and diseases and rotting orifices. And,
Nate, you are
that's the deal.
Motherfucking
that's how it is.
ace of spades.
All right. There. Done. Established. Okay, well, speaking of that, I once got infected with Genova cells, and it was pretty
Genova
tough.
19.
Genova 19 was rough for me. All right, I've got two sickness stories I wanted to bring up on this Coofcast episode. The first one was more Genova related. Not really, but a little bit. I may have told this before, but when I was like very young, I think in elementary school, I got a fever. I got sick or something, and I am prone to very high fevers. I believe it said that at 106 degrees, if you have a fever, your brain cells start to die. Or it might be 107. It's something around there. And I was at 105, like 0.8. I was like right on the border or something.
Oh no!
Explains a lot.
Is this where you became stupid?
I remember.
That's the theory. That's just the theory.
I remember because our dad absolutely convinced me that you were going to die.
But I procrastinate on that. Procrastinate.
Yeah. Okay.
There it is. There it is. Well, that was a little fucked up of him. No need for that, Dad.
Yeah.
But always thinking ahead, that Dad. I appreciate that. So I
Thinking ahead to your funeral.
to my funeral. He's
Could have really done without it, but you know what? I appreciate it.
Give me a Final Fantasy VII themed coffin that says "This soldier's going back to Shinra" or
no, your dad's getting in there like
Shinra. What about Re-Enter the Life Stream?
Not bad example.
Back to the live stream.
I'm a dedicated Shinra employee role player, just like I am to Slime.
Shinra is going to take your live stream energy and compress it into a tiny little materia shard that they'll use to I don't know.
They'll use it to power,
The hamster.
They'll
like their
use
new
it to
sex
power like one
robot,
of their like
you know?
mechanized urinals or something.
Yes, exactly. With like a giant steam engine on the top of the urinal, pumping out pollution everywhere.
Yes,
Every flush, it
multiplying
just
the
fills
pollution
room
as it
with
removes
smoke.
it.
Based worth. Thank you, Shinra. And right, so I was very sick, and my only real memory of this, I do remember being hot and like tossing and turning in my bed, my brain fairly addled and not knowing what was going on. But the most powerful memory I have of this time was, I think, before I realized I was sick, I like went to bed the first day, or like the night of, and in that dream, I had a horrific experience of, I was big into Power Rangers at the time, and I had watched the Power Rangers about like Lord Ooze.
Ivan Ooze.
Which I believe was
Ivan Ooze from
Ivan
the Power
Ooze.
Rangers movie.
The movie.
Yes. That was the first movie, right? If I
Yeah.
remember correctly?
Yes.
I think so.
It was
The
purple.
theatrical
ooze.
movie.
Dude,
yes.
the fucking
Ivan
CG
Ooze.
in that movie is so cool.
It's
Can we
incredible.
show
It's
a
incredible.
fucking clip of the like space transformation of the Zords transforming? They look amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. It's
everyone's
aged
I
just
have
like,
that
very
on
gracefully.
VHS. I want to rewatch it.
Hell yeah.
There's
Ivan
a-
Ooze is pretty base.
He is.
He's pretty based.
and
He's
and
killer
Ivan
as
Ooze
fuck.
really stuck
We
with
love
me.
slime.
He's the Genova of the Power Rangers world, in my mind, because he scares me, just like Genova, and makes me pee my pants. He like oozes into a Zord in the end and like takes it over, and for some reason, in my fever-addled brain, I recreated the story in my head of like, we were now like the Ooze Rangers, like we were the ones who were oozing,
Who is we?
and like. Me as a member of the Power Rangers team
see.
and the rest of the team.
I see.
Yeah, we were oozing into Zords, and he was oozing into Zords, and like my biggest memory of this fever is like being a viscous creature, like puppeting a mech, a Megazord as they're called, and doing glorious battle with Ivan Ooze. But more than anything, I remember like the horrific face of like Ivan Ooze, like his head on his neck, like stretching out towards me, like off of his body, in this horrific,
That's fucked up, man.
oh, I don't know, it's horrific. It
Sounds pretty cool.
It was kind of cool. It'd be a cool boss fight. It reminds me a little bit of the new Genova. Well,
Is this
the old
the
Genova
start
too,
of the
but
new arc for Nate Bestman? Is his ongoing
Yeah.
rivalry with Ivan Ooze?
Ivan Ooze. What's the Ooze relationship to slime, by the way? Are they friends? Are they rivals?
Well, I mean, it must place somewhere on the slime like translucency versus viscosity.
It was on there.
think
Ooze
they're
Girls
more
was on there
viscous.
somewhere.
Yeah. So it is
I
a
would have to say it's more viscous,
subcategory
but,
of slime for sure.
Okay, fair. Well, I don't like it, and Ooze should be banned.
Oh wait,
We'll
here-
campaign
I
against
was looking
Ooze.
for an image. This is does his face move
Oh,
stretched
I don't
like
wanna
this?
see him. I'm gonna have nightmares.
the hell
Yes,
is
that's like
that?
exactly what his
Is
stretched
that
face
Kare
looked
Kano?
like.
It's a smear frame from Kare Kano where I paused it,
Yuck.
and I was like, haha.
Oh, sick.
That is exactly what it looked like. Oh yes. Oh, his face. It's bringing back all these memories. Just take one look at Ivan Ooze here, and I think you'll be impressed. He stands
He's
out.
awesome.
He's really stood the test
He's
of time.
so cool.
He is awesome, but I don't like him, and I don't like
He's
looking
my
at him.
favorite.
This is like-
Anyway.
This is like the final form of Ben Saint. Right? The cop killer.
You're right. Cool. This is Ben with using 100% of his power.
When Ben has all the slime.
That face when you
Oh,
got
yeah.
ooze. Yeah, I got ooze.
Damn, that should be the lore. This is Ben at a
You know what?
timeline where Ben took over and stole the slime from the rowdies.
You know,
This is.
I see the resemblance. I also like snow globes.
You just
And,
put one of those beanies on him.
The plot of this movie was really horrifying. They like use this ooze or whatever or something to like take over people's mind and make them these like automatons.
He gives
that
out like
walk to
free
this cliff.
ooze and like pretends that it is a toy. It's like a
right.
like Play-Doh or something, and all these kids get it, and it doesn't affect the kids.
I love it.
It doesn't affect the
But the
kids, but it
adults.
mind controls the adults.
Right.
for some
right.
reason.
Don't you love
And
how
is he gonna
the
make-
Power
is he-
Rangers movie predicted the slime craze that is happening like in the last couple years? Like
I guess
Is
so.
there
takes
a-
over
I guess
YouTube.
so.
Yeah, like that's like
I-
one of the fads of like kids making their own slime. You can go to like Walgreens and buy
Okay,
pre-made slime.
Isn't that just a 90s
making
thing?
your own slime was always a thing. I don't know. If
That,
there's
like,
a,
became
I don't know
a
if I would say
YouTube
there's a
thing.
fad going. If there is, I'm very interested and I want to get in on it.
Yeah, it is like a thing. Look it up. Like, look it up on YouTube. There's like people getting millions of views and like hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad revenue.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
this is how you make slime.
But is it because of the slime, or are they just like a really popular like kids channel that just
I'm
happens
pretty sure
to make
it's
some
the slime. I'm pretty sure the slime is the thing.
Well,
Everybody
usually that
really got
always
into
is.
Ivan Ooze.
Far be it from me to
Debate
doubt
will
the
rage
power
on
of
for all
slime.
You know?
Okay.
I was just like, my mind's fuzzy, but does he control the adults and then like make them like almost jump off a cliff and kill themselves?
He
I
does,
believe
yeah.
that does happen. Or something to that
I
effect.
don't remember what he actually does.
The kids
I
are
remember
freaking
the
out because
kids
their
are-
parents are gonna like die or
The
some
parents
shit.
are too strong and they can't stop them from killing themselves.
Is-
It's like, oh no, I told my mom and dad to die, but I didn't know what it would feel like when it actually happened.
Is that the
I appreciate them now.
is that an Ivan Ooze pin?
I think it is.
looks
I was
so
looking for, like,
cool.
a
I want
bottle,
one.
But that's a pin, and it says "Safe for children of all ages. Adults beware."
That is so
Ooze, with
fucking
his-
sick. I cannot believe.
It's awful.
Speaking of making
Ooze is
slime,
fucking banned.
speaking of creating
No one's allowed.
ooze, I have decided. I have jumped in on a what's the word? A wild gambit, a fool's errand, if you will. I've decided that I want to try making a keto gummy candy. I'm going to try becoming
You
a
did mention that.
keto patissier. I'm going to make gummies. And I was thinking, what if I made like RFC?
How's that work?
Well, regular gummies are made with like gelatin, sugar, corn syrup, maybe rice flour, this shit called carnauba wax. And there are other things that are not carbohydrates that you can use in place. Like I found these at my local Whole Foods where I go because I don't want to get on the bus to go somewhere else. They have this brand called Smart Sweets, which is a low sugar gummy. And they are all made with something called prebiotic soluble fiber from tapioca. So I went on this website called Netrition and I bought this giant, like, big gallon jug of this stuff, this soluble fiber from tapioca. And I'm just gonna like fuck around with it. And I bought molds and I bought like fruit flavorings. I bought bags. I bought a bag of food grade carnauba wax. It's just wax. It's used in waxing a car, and yet it's also in food. I bought bags of pure crystallized acid, citric acid, which is the stuff. There's citric acid, malic acid, tartaric acid, and there's one other one that are like acids found in fruit flavorings and fruits. But like when you have like a sour gummy, like it's just like citric acid, like it's crystallized citric acid that it's been rolled in. That's what makes it sour. So I have that shit, and I'm gonna make shit. I'm gonna like fucking
make some keto Sour Patch Kids.
Yes. I can't fucking wait. I'm so fucking stoked for it.
Sounds pretty dope.
It's pretty. I mean this brand that I found, they have Swedish Fish. They have a Swedish Fish knockoff. They have a Sour Patch Kids knockoff. They have a Peach Rings knockoff, which is really good. Let me tell you some of the shit. Some of the shit that's in here. Coconut oil, rice flour, chicory root fiber, gelatin, lactic acid, malic acid, something called a gum called carrageenan, pectin, which comes from grapes. I don't know. I know what all this shit is. I can do it. Guys,
Based.
I'm gonna fucking do it. It's gonna be so sick.
That does sound good. Where do gummies stack up also on the slime scale? Are they adjacent or are they on there?
I think they
got to be super viscous.
They must.
I guess.
Yeah. They're probably like super viscous, maybe like middle translucency. 'Cause sometimes they're clear and sometimes they're cloudy. Yeah, I think
Gummies are how you store slime for usage later.
Okay, I think that definitely Gummy Girls would fall on that chart for sure. It's definitely a slime subset.
Hard agree.
Yeah, and
Let's pull that up.
that'd be fucking hot. By the way, that would be fucking hot.
Yeah, take a big bite. Ooh, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unga bunga. Yeah, that's what I want.
I was a little nervous about buying like pure acid. And I was like,
Sure.
is this scary? But it's okay because I went and I found a video. I found at least one video of someone just eating a big spoonful of pure citric acid, like just as like a joke. Or
Well, yeah, it's like a dried lemon, you know.
Yeah, but like Yeah, it's the stuff that makes lemon sour. I mean, it's just the stuff that coats like a Sour Patch Kid. So like he takes a big spoonful of it, he eats it, it's really sour, it hurts his mouth, he like cries a little bit, but like, whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's not gonna kill you or anything.
I like doing
Might
that.
fuck your gums up a little bit, might burn your gums, I don't know. Just
Yeah, probably.
Just be reasonable. Anyway, this is my new thing. I can't fucking wait. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just waited and been like, and come up one week and be like, hey guys, check out these like professional looking fucking candy I made.
It's okay. This is the bonus episode. No one will
You're
know.
right. You're right.
No one will know. Keep it on the down low, folks. We're trusting you.
One day
viewers
in the
at home.
future, if I show up on a regular episode, like, guys, so I just am a pro Candyman now.
I want to hear a loud slap as a huge wad of gummies slaps onto the desk
you can
table.
say, oh, if you listened to that bonus episode, then you would have known this was coming.
Mm-hmm. That's the lore.
Anyway, I'm sick. I'm gonna cough on my gummies.
Procrastinate on that
I'm gonna
shit.
spread COVID-19 through food products.
Ooh, that's good. COVID bites. Don't mind if I do. Will be the tagline.
And I was like, what if I got like custom molds? What if I got like custom molds for like like a Slime Corp brand?
Your little triangles.
That does a Yum Brands Slime Corp.
Well, that's a
brand,
real-
yeah.
You could get dyes, give them
yeah,
the
you're right.
rowdies and the killer version.
I was thinking like killers. You think like, oh, killers would be purple. They'd be grape. No,
course.
killer. That's basic shit. Killers would be like blueberry pomegranate or something. They'd be they'd be a refined purple, secret purple.
If the juvie ones were like sour apple, that would be great.
Maybe. I was thinking about slime, and first of all, there already are slime candies that exist, and I talked to Munchie about this, and he told me like, Ben, that's cool and all, but these already exist, and you're just reinventing the wheel, and it didn't matter. I was like, I don't care. You know what? I don't care. I like it. I was thinking like, what would slime taste like? Okay, it'd be really sour. It'd be really acidic, and I think it would have like a fruit taste. It would have like kind of a hard to make out, sort of just a generic like fruit taste under it. And I was thinking maybe like kiwi or pear, maybe like a pear kiwi, like sort of mild fruit flavor with like a lot of like sourness over top of it. I don't know. I'm the last like 2 days, I cannot wait for my big jug of soluble tapioca fiber to arrive in the mail. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, that reminds. Actually, wait. Never mind. I'll mention it later.
That's pretty much all
I got your package, Ben. I forgot to send it. I got to do that. I got to do that. It's over on my table.
Bitch ass. What did it arrive like 2 days ago?
I got to go get that Corona at the post office and die.
Hey, man. I'm counting on
that's
you.
life.
It's
That's
fine,
life.
actually.
I know.
I was a little worried because, like, oh no, I've been vaping a bunch. Am I gonna get fits? Am I gonna be like, oh no? Will I go into withdrawals? Not really. I've been fine. I haven't vaped in like almost a week now, and I'm not like. So I don't know. Good. It's all good.
Okay.
Still,
All right,
I like to
fine.
have
All
it just as like a prop, if for no other reason than to
Sure.
vape on webcam and for the meme.
It's fair.
Right on.
Cheers to that. All right. I've got another story about sick. Slightly less dramatic.
Oh.
Thank you. This is the Coofcast.
My throat hurts now. No joke.
Yeah, it was gross. So, one time, so speaking of COVID-19 or whatever the fuck, when I was a kid, when I was in college, there was what was the thing? I think it was the bird flu that was going around, maybe the swine flu.
There was bird flu, there was swine flu,
thing?
there was Heaney, there was SARS.
I don't know that one. Well, I got
H1N1.
one of them. I think I got one of them. I don't know how. I was just in college, didn't travel to fucking China or anywhere where there was disease. Just was at college in New Jersey. But at one time, I was just like in bed for several days, just completely laid out by this illness. I could barely move and get up and stuff. I mean, I could get up and go to the fucking bathroom and walk, but it was very, very difficult, low energy, and it was for like many days, such that eventually, like my roommates were there, just like, oh, geez, there's Nate, like dying in his bed still. That's still going on.
Based.
Eventually, my mommy drove down for Massachusetts and collected me, and we went back to Massachusetts
to do what with
so I
you?
could like I mean, just so that they could like take care of me, because I was just like sick for like many days in a row, and it was not seeming to stop. So, I mean, my fucking roommates, what are they gonna do? They're MGTOW, anarcho-capitalist, cutthroat Darwinists. They just want
They're
me
just
to
like,
die.
you can die, it's fine.
Well, like, I mean,
Exactly.
what's mom gonna do? Like, she's just gonna like, give you
Nothing.
make you hydrated. I guess like be there if like things take a turn and you need to go
Do
to the
the basic
hospital.
shit.
Yeah. Just do the basic shit.
Yeah.
Like, she can't do any fucking magic spells. They were like, well, Nate's been sick for quite a few days. We'll bring him back home. I mean,
No,
it's
little
like
do
a 4
you
or
know
5
she
hour
can
drive.
do magic spells. It's a
Maybe.
secret.
She's a witch. She was hexing me from distance, but
Based.
she just wanted me to come home for the loneliness.
Yeah, she wasn't. She can't cure it. She was causing it.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Mom, under control
Anyway,
of
I don't know.
avenues
There's
the
not
whole
much more
time.
to it. That was like the longest period I was sick in my life that I recall. I've like never broken a bone. One time I fell and hit my head while like playing fucking dodgeball or foursquare in elementary school, and did black out. So it was technically concussion, but hopefully no ramifications.
Wait,
Seems okay.
what do you mean it was
Seems okay.
technically a concussion?
I've been told that if you black out after hitting your head,
No.
it like counts as a concussion, even if it's a very minor
Concussion
one or
is like
something.
is when like your brain like moves in your skull. I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I don't think
that's
I
right.
don't think blacking out is the criteria. I mean, maybe.
Okay, I could be wrong. I remember from a long time ago. This is my only
I don't
memory of the thing.
I'm a little
Anyway, my
suspect
point is,
of that.
I have not been very injured at any point in my life, basically. And the time I had that big fever when I was a baby, and then in college when I just got some crazy virus that laid me out for days. I don't know. It's been making me think about like, how does one die when you like get the flu or something? I guess it's just that like your body just gets taxed for days and then just like loses energy and you just kind of peter out and put out and die. Is that how it works?
With COVID, it's really scary. I mean, I'm pretty
like
sure
lungs,
you suffocate.
right? Yes, that would make me want to not be alive anymore, just knowing that was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Just
thanks.
just put a bullet in my head if that's what's going to happen to me. I'd rather have that. Not that COVID will necessarily cause that, but
no, I mean,
lungs are...
most cases are mild and don't enter your lungs. If they
Yeah.
enter your lungs, then if you're really then that's a bad case. And in the worst of the bad cases, you need to be on a ventilator because you can't breathe yourself. And presumably, if it gets bad enough, even a ventilator won't save you. Like if it fucks your lungs up enough, having a ventilator breathe for you still probably won't save you. But like,
I'm constantly speaking of
Yikes.
illness and whatnot. It's so gross, but also unfortunate that we all live in this like soup on the surface of this planet in this thin little area where we can survive. And I've been watching a lot of Star Trek, so like they go out into space and stuff, they recreate their environment. But it's so fucking fragile.
Yeah.
This little ecosystem we even can survive in. And it's it's spooky on a cosmic level.
I
It's
think
so
about
spooky.
this all the time. It's the worst.
Yeah.
This is why I want transhumanism. The human body is fragile. The human ecosystem is fragile. It's all bullshit. We're like 1 degree of rotation away from like the Earth being unsustainable for human life anymore. Ridiculous. If my heart,
Thank
something happens to
God.
my heart, you can't just like fix it. It's
Some-
like this big risk.
Yeah.
Robot bodies now, please.
Sometimes I sort of just, I look around and I marvel at like bricks. And I'm like, dang, that's kind of the most important invention ever.
They're up there.
I mean, it's pretty good.
like to build a shelter with like you can get away from all of the ills of like general basic nature. You can dig
And without a
underground to
brick,
get away from the heat.
It's
Like, you can do
interesting
loads of
to me
things.
how like like when you're out like a wall, right? Like an enclosed space feels so different when you're inside a building versus when you're outside of one. Like it just has like a totally different feel to it.
And without bricks, how would we have made the brick shithouses that are such a useful reference for our thickly built women? We'd have no frame of reference whatsoever.
Isn't
My
that a
girl-
reference for thickly built men?
I don't
No,
know.
because
I think of it in
she's
terms
a
of women,
brick.
but-
Dun, 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 dun,
Not
house.
shit house though, but I insert
letting
that.
it all
Brick
hang
shit
out.
house.
I think the shit
I've
house
always
is
heard
just
that
the
as like
slightly less
like
polite one to use for.
brick shit house sounds like because it's like bricks. It's like hard, like the hard
Yeah.
abs, like the muscles are so strong. That's what I assume.
But nonetheless, of course, she was referred to as a brick house, which one would assume means.
Oh,
What does that
wait
mean?
a minute.
Actually?
I mean, she can't blow her
Thickly?
down.
Large.
hold on.
Sturdy?
I'm looking it up. I'm to our old friend UrbanDictionary.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
UK usage, a very big person, normally male, who is as broad as he is tall, yet carries very little fat, not the sort of person you would willingly upset. Terms come from the large brick built outside toilets, once common in working class areas of the UK.
But is
so
this
it's
brick
literally
shithouse
there was a building called a shithouse, which was basically like a brick outhouse that was very squat. Okay, but the song is about a woman, I'm pretty sure.
Is it a
What's
US?
the song from?
Yeah, you said that's a UK one, but is there like a US one that's
Hold on.
more femininely oriented? I don't know.
Brick house.
You got to go to Rural Dictionary for that one.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it is. Yeah, it's okay. The lyrics are ow, she's a brick house. She's mighty mighty, just letting it all hang out. She's a brick house. That lady's stacked, and that's a fact. Ain't holding nothing back. So the song's about a woman, but I guess it's supposed to be funny because, like, boy, this woman is built like one of these like burly men who we compared to these outhouses.
It's really
These
like a Brienne of
shithouses.
Tarth situation, like a warrior Amazon queen is how I'm imagining it. Right.
I wonder if
I don't know why, but I made this just now.
Oh no!
This is Nate when he gets COVID-19.
the Commodores is an American band. The song charted in America, and oh god, you know, it's kind of a Trump face. Do you see it? Like it's sort of a Trump chin.
Yeah, I can see
Like
it.
if you change the hair, like give it a Trump wig. You know, I don't know.
Okay. If you say
His like jowl, his jowly, you know,
this looks
chin,
okay
whatever.
because there's like that extra line on the side. It makes it look fat and jowly because of the way it's been like cropped. Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, this is bad end, Nate.
This is COVID.
When your channel goes downhill, you can put this on the thumbnails.
This will be my new thing. Yeah, excellent.
Yikes.
This is going straight into the vault.
This is going straight to the moon.
Can't come out. Oh, it's not good. What else is on the agenda for the day?
This has nothing This has nothing to do with COVID. But I won the fucking turnip stock market, you guys.
Yeah,
I invested this week. I invested 200,000 bells in turnips.
Nice.
And the market spiked. I sold at 450 this morning.
Hey,
I made like 700,000 bells. I got the final house upgrade. Yeah, I got tomorrow. I'm getting a basement.
Incredible!
I did it. I fucking did it. Now I just have to decide how I want to decorate all this bullshit.
That's the tough one.
That's the
ultimate
real
quest.
challenge of the game is how to. Sure, I've got
That's
this big
endgame right there.
It actually just makes it harder when you get more rooms. Like, okay, but what do I do with them? I've decided to turn the upstairs into a church, but I need like good pews. I don't have any good chairs that like work as pews, so I don't know. It's only halfway
Good
there.
point. Yeah, all right.
I think the
all right.
downstairs
They
is
have,
going to be like
stained
a science lab. The top, the upstairs is going to be a church. I have a back room that's like it has like the city wallpaper that sort of looks like you're looking out windows onto a cityscape. I got my orbs in there. That's cool. I got a side room that's just like it's got a nice little hearth in it. It's got a little rose carpeting. I don't know. I'll probably change that one.
My place is a true nightmare. I've got no organizational system. I just throw shit everywhere. I hate it. I'm not yet at that point. I'm not ready.
You gotta expand. You gotta expand your house to get that storage space, to get those extra storage slots, so you don't have to put. Before I got the second to last house upgrade, I was storing up my my fish and my bugs, and I had too many fish and too many bugs. I couldn't fit them, so like all my main rooms were just filled with like fish tanks, bug tanks.
Yeah.
I had a run of incredible luck fishing the other day where I caught like 3 tuna, 3 marlin, 2 coelacanths.
Nice.
It was not. It was raining and I was fishing off the pier. I was using up all my bait.
Oh, I caught that one. What's that really long red fish?
The oarfish.
What's it called? I caught a fucking oarfish. It was the biggest fish I've ever seen in my life. It was awesome.
The oarfish is
Highlight
sick
of my week.
The oarfish is sick. The marlin is really sick too. The tuna, actually,
Yeah, of course.
those are the big ones right now. The tuna, the oarfish, the marlin, and the coelacanth are. When you catch a coelacanth, it gives you a big like blast from the past text in like bold lettering. It's very cool. I caught 2 of them. I caught 2 of them in one day.
Oh man, I had a question for you. I want to ask you about Animal Crossing stuff, and it's that I'm constantly vexed by one thing, and it's that I want to be able to store stuff in storage without having to go inside to like get my materials to craft stuff. Is there any kind of like wardrobe you can put outside to access your
I'm
stuff
sorry.
inside?
To the best of my knowledge, no, there's not.
I figured that was the case.
What I would kill for is like if I could just craft with my storage, right? Like if I didn't have to manually withdraw shit from my storage and have it on my person. Like if I'm in my house and I have a drawer, a workbench, why will it not just take rocks and iron out of my fucking... Why do I have to go into my inventory and manually put them in my pockets before I can craft them?
That's Nintendo for you.
That
always making
things
a little longer than they need to be.
Okay, that and the fact that like you can't craft like 10 bait at a time. You have to sit through the fucking crafting.
One at a fucking time.
It really blows.
Because they just managed finally to put in like some quality of life stuff in like the new Pokemon game. I mean, that's Game Freak, but Pokemon fucking Nintendo affiliated, blah blah blah. But I've been going between Factorio and Animal Crossing like regularly. It is so night and day. In like sometimes I get fucking sick of Factorio because it's too intelligent. It's too smart. My brain can't handle it. I need Animal Crossing, and then I play Animal Crossing for 2 seconds. I'm like, I fucking hate this game. Everything takes so fucking long. I have to walk inside. It's so inefficient.
It is.
Two opposite kinds of people made these games, and it's very interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, the point of Animal Crossing is just for you to fuck around, so no.
I don't think they were caring too much about min-maxing when they were designing Animal Crossing.
Okay, but surely we could compromise to some degree, like storage materials that are crafting materials.
Nintendo not about that though. They're never about delivering exactly what you want. They gotta keep you on the hook for the next game, hoping that maybe my niggling issues will finally be addressed, but they won't be.
I would just argue that even the normiest of normo, who's playing like Sword and Shield, can appreciate the many quality of life things that have been added,
like what?
Such as. Well, for example, how about all those tools that you can use at the end of the game in the battle tower to like undo EVs and like fix your EVs if they're busted and like reset all that kind of stuff?
Not even that. Like accessing your box from anywhere, base.
Well, yeah, obviously that too.
When you capture
accessing your box from anywhere, you mean like in Let's Go Eevee?
I think that's where they introduced it. Being able, when you catch a Pokemon and you have more than 6 guys in your party,
Shield, Ben?
You can choose to switch somebody out in your party without having to like go to the box first.
Go to the box.
Okay, that I think is fine, but like you can't just like swap party members anywher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere.
No. Wait. You're telling me that if I'm just like out and about and I'm like, I left my HM slave, I can just like open up my menu, go into my box and swap
Correct.
my HMs?
That's correct.
Ugh. God.
Now, in some ways, I mean, we've talked about this before, but in some ways, I think that's almost too convenient and robs a little bit of the experience.
That's baby shit.
How?
How
does that...
Just fucking build your fucking team.
Yeah, because it robs you a little bit of team building stuff.
I think the point of that is not to rob of team building. It's to incentivize actually like capturing Pokemon and using more of them.
There's pluses and minuses. I know that isn't the intention.
Pokemon,
I would argue it's a consequence.
Pokemon is about going around with your team. These are your 6. You're building your team, and if you can access the box from anywhere, your team is just however many Pokemon you want. Oh, I'll just switch out whoever.
It's a different idea.
Yeah, you want the 6. You want your team of 6, and you are the team, and you go around, and it's the 7 of you against the world. God damn it! I'm actually pissed off.
Wow,
that's a change.
That is a retarded take. Don't like it.
Look, you are a retarded take. Fuck you, die.
No, because I played the game, and even with that change, there was still 6 guys that I like focused my team building on. Like that is still completely intact. It's just extra flexibility. That's all it is.
This is a nebulous kind of thing, and I don't know. We've talked about it in episodes before, but there's some soul kind of stuff there that even though it's literally less convenient, can add to the experience. I would argue.
That's some smooth brain bullshit.
The only good Pokemon game is Pokemon Blue.
How hard is it to just like pick a guy, just have an HM slave? I don't know. I know everyone complains about having to have an HM slave.
I was playing my Nuzlocke, and it's annoying that I have to run back. Like, no one has cut. God damn it, got to go run back, get cut. Like, yeah, it's annoying. It would be nice to be able to just swap them out instantly. But
okay, I mean obviously I hate the way that I've always I don't know. I don't want to give my whole
HMs are gone, by the way.
What are they replaced with?
just like tools. They just don't do anything. And now fly is like you just call a taxi cab.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! I fucking hate. Nah, I'm so.
The fact
I'm
that you
so
don't ride
happy.
your own Pokemon
I'm
is-
done. I'm done with Pokemon. I'm never buying another Pokemon game again. I'm out. I hate it. I hate what they're doing with it. I hate.
Maybe Temtem and whatnot will be good, and they'll
Temtem
the
seems
things
pretty
that-
cool. I might play Temtem.
I'd be curious to hear what you think. I don't know anyone who's played it.
I was thinking of Nuzlocking it maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe
that sounds fun.
in the future. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I think I'm just never gonna. I think I'm never gonna buy a Pokemon again. I think I hate it that much.
That is
Wow.
certainly understandable.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the experience has changed. It's very different. It's for I would argue, more casualized audience, and I think that there's been a lot of losses as a result. And
The
people can like it,
final
not
straw
like it.
for Ben. No having to toggle HM slaves. That was just a step too far.
It's not just that. It's also like what they did. Like what they've replaced HMs
the
with.
ultimate feeling of exploring the land with your team is diminished, and that's
That's a
something you don't
valuable
like.
thing.
Yeah.
I would argue that's one of it's one of these things where nobody agrees with me, but some people do. I love the low poly models and how animated they are in like original Final Fantasy VII. Like so many people, they're like, don't care, not interested. Like we want, it looks better. It's just better. And I'm like, but that was like a core thing that I loved about the original and whatnot. And it's gone.
I really hate. All right,
yeah.
I don't want to get on a whole Final Fantasy VII
too
thing.
late.
But
Okay.
this is just a overall graphical thing.
Mm-hmm.
But hyper realism or
Yeah.
realistic things is not better than
We all agree. I think
non-realistic.
all of us
Yeah,
here
I
are
don't-
on
It is
board with
just
that
a
idea.
different style. It is a different style that has its fans, and that's fine.
I think we've
But
said
people
this before.
thinking that higher definition is better makes my skin crawl.
I think we've talked about this before, but I feel like the zeitgeist really has just been captured since like the 2000s of what can you put in a trailer that impresses people? The only thing you can do is better graphics. So it's just become like a thing that I don't know. Like I wish it was more like Okami, where it's like, ooh, let's be like creative and you guys.
I mean,
know
that's
this.
impressive in
Yeah.
a trailer. People were impressed by the way Okami looked, even though it wasn't
I'm
super high poly.
playing Okami HD.
Sure.
It's more impressive to me than like the vast majority of games that have come out in the last 5 years because like there was actual like creativity and art direction to it.
Good art direction people like that as well, right?
Yeah.
Digi was
I
arguing
don't
with
know
some
about
people
that.
on Twitter earlier about how he likes how the original FF7 looks and like thinks the new one looks dumb. Whatever. I mean, I kind of agree in some ways. I think I get the gist of what he's saying. Some people find it silly. That's fine. But one of the games he put down is like he's like,
Imagine
such
a fucking loser that you're like, wait, what? You prefer lower poly? But like there are fewer polygons, bro. The resolution's
hard to
lower.
take it
That's
seriously.
wrong. Imagine being
It is
that
hard to take
fucking
that
dumb.
seriously.
Being that smooth-brained is bad, but to be fair, Digi didn't say in his initial tweet, I prefer the look of the original Final Fantasy VII. He's like, I can't hold it in anymore. This game looks like straight fucking garbage, and you're retarded
Okay,
for
true.
liking it.
You're right.
It was very much
Well, they
a
didn't
base
say
tweet.
you're
usual
retarded for
hyperbole.
liking it.
Well,
okay,
can I
Tom
please
is
just get the
also slightly
truth? Can I please
exaggerating,
just get the actual true statement so I can respond to it accurately?
He says, "I
we
can't
don't-
believe nobody think like it was something to the effect of this game looks like shit. I can't believe nobody else is saying this."
Well, okay, all right. We called it shit.
yeah.
All right, well, fine. Then I
You know,
guess I can
in some
understand
ways,
why
it's
you would
just
disagree with that if you like how it looks, if you're weird and
Perfectly
dumb.
fair.
Yeah,
Perfectly
okay.
fair.
I
But,
don't
it's
like
just
it. I hate the high res. I hate the photo.
He put like
realism
as
shit.
one game that he loves to look up. He put like Sekiro, and I'm like, oh yeah, Sekiro is like the most beautiful game I've ever played, except like maybe Bloodborne. These are like my two like most and like those
I
both
hate
go a little bit
Sekiro.
more
It
towards.
looks like shit. I don't
do
like
you really
it.
think that? Do you actually think that?
Wait,
From
which?
the very little of what I've seen of Sekiro, it really just doesn't appeal to me. And that's like the beginning of the game. I don't know, something
I don't
about
really
it.
know what it looks like. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay,
It's like it's nice. It's
Let's not
definitely
forget.
got its
Let's
thing.
not forget.
But it's
Screenshots
just
are
not
one thing.
for
This
me.
is a video game, and these are 3D environments to be experienced in a.
No,
3D
I've played
setting.
it. I've played the first level or two.
I mean,
So
I think
something about
Bloodborne
it.
looks way better than Sekiro.
I don't
Baffling
know.
to me
It
that
just
someone wouldn't just love how Sekiro looks. I
Well,
don't
all
get
right.
it.
One.
We're not all as weeb as you are, I guess.
I
guess
think
not.
it's something like the time of day, the color, the overall color palette,
Okay.
and
Okay.
the fact that I'm not like in awe of Japanese architecture.
It kind of just looks like a Souls game.
Everything since
color
Bloodborne
palette
has looked pretty much, because they're all using the same engine, I would assume, because they all have like a very similar look.
Yeah.
I think I can narrow it down to just like the color palette of the early Sekiro levels, which is a little bit too brown, a little bit too red, and a little bit too like like it's not like low saturation, but there's not enough popping colors. It's sort of like it's just weirdly
it's kind of desaturated.
I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but it's a color palette thing. So it's not like it looks bad.
Not to get too weeby here or anything, but like there is a thing in like Japanese artistry where they use very subtle colors intentionally because it brings out like what little color, like a girl dressed in like dark brown or black with just like one red hairpin. Yeah. Just like the simplicity of the overall color makes that one thing stand out way more. Right, and I think Sekiro does that a little. Like the fact that Sekiro wears orange, it's like kind of muted or whatever, is it certainly stands out in the world of Sekiro.
I think
that's fine.
I think I just hate orange. I think I hate oranges. I hate citrus.
Naruto? Come on.
That's like Simon Belmont.
Well,
right?
Naruto
like
would actually
sequelitis?
look good in Sekiro because he's got the bright yellow hair and the bright orange thing. It's just really poppy. I think there's not enough of a singular like poppy thing in Sekiro.
The only thing about this is that like,
and it's not that's fine because it's like that's not what the game is supposed to look like. It's just that I don't like looking at it.
Yeah, your point here is totally fine. I understand if somebody could play a little bit of a game, say this isn't for me, don't like it, that's fine. But when I think about it, I played the game many times, and I think of like meeting the divine dragon, seeing the Everblossom tree in what's it called, the waterfall palace. And like fighting the giant snake and like all these things are like so cool looking. So I'm making a little highlight reel in my brain as I think about like my favorite looking things. And I don't know, Ashina Castle and like looking over the vistas and talking to Ishin and whatnot. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Old thing, good. New thing can be good, but mostly bad.
Oh, man. The virus is getting to him.
Yeah.
Any of you guys
it's metastasized to his brain.
Yeah, you guys coughed through the mic and now I have it.
Do you guys have any other Coof-related stories or anything? Any personal
I was trying to think of like a personal story where I had a big Coof. I think I've told it on the PCP before though, so I don't really know. I can't think of any.
Can you give it just the short version? Because I can't remember.
Oh, the short version was I was out in the wilderness and I had a runny nose and I got mucus all up my throat and I couldn't breathe for like a full 5 seconds and I thought this is it, I'm gonna die, and then I coughed it up.
Lol.
I fell on the ground, I rolled on the grass and I was like
Coofing based.
The
Coofing saved your life.
It's not Coof related.
It did.
But I have lately I've my whole like mood and outlook have gone like way down the shitter recently, and part of it has come in the form of that like I'm very sure every time I feel a little like anything in my gut, I'm like, oh my god, it's another kidney I keep thinking I feel another kidney stone, and I haven't yet, so I'm just like I probably am just imagining it, but like I keep thinking like, oh, is that it? I don't know. I'm kind of over it now because I've gone. Like last week, there was a day I was like, I definitely have it. Like in the next couple hours, I will be on the floor screaming for like 24 hours straight. That is just my destiny. But it didn't end up happening. So I've had a couple, that's gone on for a while. And finally I have to be like, maybe I'm just like not good at telling when that's going to happen. So
I can understand.
I'm kind of over it a little bit, but I keep like, I'll feel a little, just, I don't know, a little like twinge or a little muscle ache or something. I'll be like, there, oh God, there it is.
Maybe you should go to the doctor and just tell him that you've been thinking about this and maybe ask if there's any stuff you can do to
go to the doctor and risk meeting people who have COVID.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing I can really do is like stay hydrated, like just do things that are good for my kidneys.
Yeah.
Which like,
fair enough.
But if I were to have a kidney stone, it would be too late at that point, right?
Sure.
All that would be left to do is like drink a lot of water, try and pass it as fast as possible.
Take preventive measures, lower sodium intake. I think that
I could probably do better at. I eat a lot of salt.
That may be
probably a problem.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Drink lots of water. That's the real solution.
That's the best thing. Everyone should do that.
Yeah. That's true. It's always a good idea.
If you're worried about your kidneys.
I've had a breakthrough in my brain. So I've been working. I've been working on comic, doing progress, real good progress. Good. Caffeine though, right? Coffee in the morning, tea all through the day. Too much of it. Trying to cut back. I've discovered that if you just have a drink of water, it's also just mostly the exact same feeling and it's fine.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't actually need caffeine when I think, I should, I got a work to do, I should go get a coffee. And then I sip the coffee and then it makes me fall asleep because it's hot liquid and that's like warm cocoa at night.
Yeah.
Bad. So, I just realized I can go without it and I can get through basically the entire day without caffeine, and it's a good thing.
That's good. I'm still.
I need like
convinced.
maybe one at the beginning of the day to kickstart everything, but after that, it's not really that necessary. Big glass of water.
Makes sense. I used to go around, and I should do this more. I had my giant jug of water. I had a huge thing that probably held 2 gallons of water, and I would have that with me at all times. I started doing it because when I would eat beans out of a can, they were in fact kind of gross. But if you just have tons of water, you can easily wash down anything, and you're getting tons of water. So it's healthy and a good idea. And I was very, very hydrated in those days. I've been drinking much more coffee these days, and it's okay. But to this day, I still am on the fence about whether caffeine even does anything. To anyone, not just me. I'm skeptical.
Planting my flag that for me personally, caffeine does literally nothing. And I've never felt more alert after it. There are tons of times where I'll have like a fucking whole Red Bull or a whole energy drink, and then like an hour later I'll just go to bed. It's fine. I don't feel anything. All it does is make me feel sick. All it does is make me sick. I'm just an idiot.
Well, there's definitely like a tolerance. You get used to a certain amount. So if you have had energy drinks and you get used to, a routine of having caffeine or energy drinks, coffee and stuff, then it's like any drug. You get the high, and then the next time you need the high, you need more, and it continues to that point until not having any caffeine makes you feel way worse than if you had never had caffeine.
I'll have to experiment because I've never felt anything like that. And there's days when I drink a full pot of coffee or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not even that much, but
I get
don't
the
know.
jitters sometimes from just drinking like a shit ton of coffee.
I've never drunk that much.
Coffee gives me the jitters more than like energy drinks do. Like I feel like I can drink.
That's true with Michelle too. She can consume.
I can drink a
energy drinks pretty
bunch of
often.
energy drinks and I don't get the jitters. But if I drink like a full pot of coffee, I will get like. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't understand
a full pot,
because
that's
like
quite a lot of liquid.
for me, I'll have coffee and I'll be fine. If I have a lot of hot coffee, it'll like fucking sit in my gut badly. Probably because I had an ulcer and it's still probably not a good idea to do that.
Perhaps.
But iced coffee's fine. Red Bull, I can have as many Red Bulls as I want and I'm totally fine. But any other energy drink, even one, will just fucking kill me and I'll feel like garbage for the rest
Remember
of the day.
that asshole at the convenience store at RadCon?
Yeah.
You mean the fucking based hero
which one?
who
That
preferred Red Bull?
cringe loser, that cringe virgin who said that he agreed with you that Red Bull was the superior energy drink.
Red Bull is the superior energy drink. I will
Gross.
go to war for it. It's so
Gross.
good.
No, it's a thing of the past. It's time to let old things
Everything
die.
else is so. I just finished a Melon Mania Rain, and it's just too
Based.
sweet.
That's so
Too
good. That's
sweet.
the
It is
best
very
one.
sweet.
That's like the best fucking one.
No, I'll
Piece
take a
of
Red Bull
shit.
any day.
Red Bull tastes like fucking medicine.
No, it's bitter. It's got like a bitter kind of subtle sweetness
it tastes
to it.
like you fucking ground it out of chicory root and
know,
like
if
boiled
I had
it in
to
a
pick
tincture.
one, if I had to pick one, I would go for the Red Bull specifically because those others like are so sweet.
Thank
It
you.
hits me a little
That's
too hard.
exactly
I like that.
where my-
I just like a fucking treat.
I don't
just
think
like to
you're
enjoy
wrong.
my
I
beverage.
just disagree. I
Yeah,
just
alright,
disagree.
alright.
God damn it.
I like black coffee. I don't have it coffee with stuff in it.
Yo, here's a trick. Here's a tip. It's a little expensive, but it's really good. You just lately I've been getting coconut milk, like vanilla, like unsweetened vanilla coconut milk, and you just mix it like half and half, coffee and coconut milk. You go through coconut milk really fast, but like whatever. And it's really good. You add some
I
little
usually use
stevia to
almond
it.
milk, and it tastes good.
Yeah, almond milk too. That works
I've
too.
been using almond milk. Yeah.
Almond milk, stevia, coffee, choice.
And like it's keto, it's low, it's not that like I'll add like heavy cream to coffee, which is keto, but it's very calorically dense. Like I can drink like 400 or 500 calories by accident just adding too much cream to my coffee.
Sure.
With coconut milk, it's not as big of a concern.
For me, whenever I have like a hot coffee or hot tea, and you put milk in it, I feel like the hot milk aspect makes me fall asleep. So that's why I have coffee black. And it just doesn't happen when I have it black.
I generally drink mine iced. Like generally we at my house we
How'd you even do that? You make coffee and you put it in the fridge?
Yeah, we make we'll make coffee and then we'll people who want it hot will drink it. We'll take the excess, we'll put it into like a big mason jar in our fridge, and then we'll just have the excess cold. And
what I tend to do if I want iced coffee, I want to make it quick. Like I usually use like instant coffee because I'm lazy and I don't care. Coffee tastes bad, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure.
I'll just take like a little bit of hot water, put the coffee in there so it actually like distills and becomes coffee, and then I'll just fill up the rest of the cup with cold water, dump that little bit in there, mix it up, and then you have iced coffee like instantly.
We just have a habit. We make more coffee than we need, and we store the excess in the fridge, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's available. It's available on demand.
We have a French press, and we use it occasionally, but I think it just sort of gets thrown away if we don't finish it.
No, store it. Hot. Store the excess.
We gotta. I guess we should store it.
I'm reheating coffee from like 3 days ago.
You can reheat it too, but like I like it better cold. So
yeah, I like it hot.
Just like pizza.
Okay.
I'll drink it at any temperature though. I don't care what goes in my body in terms of flavor. I'll do anything. I'll put anything in my body, including
even
this
COVID-19.
Yep, that's what's going on with me. All right, we've been here for a fucking hour and a little bit. We've given these people too much. They're gonna have higher expectations.
I have legitimately burned through all the cool shit that I would have talked about on the next actual episode, and talked about it here because I didn't want to wait because I didn't have anything else to say.
Understandable.
So we've ruined the next actual episode.
Yeah, that's you patrons get to see the real episode by bonus episode.
Yeah,
it's a feature. So
when people say like, guys, I only in the comments of the next episode, people say, guys, I only watched this show for Ben, and Ben didn't have anything to say this episode. He didn't have anything new to bring to the table. What the fuck? I want you to comment. Well, you see, he spent all his best material on the bonus episode, which you can get access to for just $5 a month.
I have to challenge that because I've never seen somebody say I watched the PCP just for Ben.
They tell me directly. I get so many
Ben posting on his alt account.
Yeah, DMs after DMs.
Phantom Horn is in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, you wouldn't listen.
typing.
You wouldn't have met my fans. They go to another school.
Yeah, right.
They live in Canada.
Makes sense.
They work for Nintendo, and they say Gino is confirmed for Smash, as a matter of fact. But
Dude, imagine Ben saying for Smash.
Ooh, do you think that like the kids these days will do a thing where like, like trying to impress the kids around the school? They're like, oh yeah, did you get the new DLC? I got the secret DLC where Gino's in my Smash. He's not in yours because like my dad got like an advanced DLC,
probably.
but like I can't let you play it. Only I.
No. The kids these days will say, my dad works for MatPat.
They'll say, my dad works for COVID-19. You know, I have COVID-19 in my copy of Smash Bros.
Yeah, my dad works for Game Grumps. I just, little spoilers. They're gonna grump. They're gonna game in the next episode. They're gonna do it all. It's, I get an advanced leak of the episode.
My dad works for Game Grumps. Yeah, my dad is actually Danny. Because I'm a Zoomer in the year 2020, and Danny's like 50, and I'm like 10. So sure. Why the fuck not?
Checks out. Speaking of viral spawn that's consuming the world, the COVID-19,
the Black Death. Remember that?
The Black Death. That was an epic meme. It interests me to be aware of the fact that, like, biologically speaking, a virus is the most successful, that which is able to be transmitted. It's like the most like literally like biologically success, like life desire.
They're more
to not impact the host negatively, but be able to be in them and spread the most.
Yeah.
which is
That's the common cold, things
which
like
is
that.
like things like the Black Plague that like kill you and like melt your bones and shit.
That's why, all right.
That's a
That's
fatal
kind of
Why it
why,
eventually died out, yeah.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
was
Yeah.
pretty successful for a while.
Indeed.
The thing that sucks, though, about, like, COVID-19 is that there are a lot of people with mild cases. It is pretty successful in that it can stay in a person and spread continually.
It is. It's pretty good. It's
They-
probably not.
I hear that
It's.
the
I mean, it's
real
more
thing
effective
that's
than
going
the
to
flu
happen
at spreading.
is like everybody's going to get it, or so many people that there's they get herd immunity or whatever, and so
Yeah, I mean, you can get
don't know.
reinfected. So herd
well
immunity
that throws a wrench in those works.
Yeah.
You can get reinfected, I think, with a new strain. I don't know whether if you can
Okay,
build up an immunity, you can get but like
maybe,
it can mutate
yeah.
into a new strain, and then you can get infected again.
Um,
That's why you need to like keep the quarantine locked down
will-
for like long enough to kill as much of the virus as possible. Hopefully, all of it.
I mean,
because if we sort of like cycle in and out, it will just keep like rebounding.
I mean, I
and,
think
like,
the
like coming
goal
back
is,
forever
like,
and ever.
hopefully we get a vaccine at some point, and then
I've heard the
yeah.
expectations
then
are,
we
like,
don't have to
18
worry
months on
about-
that though.
Huh? What?
I've heard the expectations for that are around 18 months. Like if ever, it's not guaranteed.
You
or
know
anything.
what? That's would be great. If we got one in
Yeah.
18 months, I would be stoked. Cause like that's fine. I heard like a
think
year
so?
plus, so 18 months sounds about right for that. But like, I mean, we don't know. There's no guarantee we'll get one then or ever. So like,
That's
if it
true.
takes
That's
18
true.
months, I will. Thanks.
I just heard your boy Gavin Newsom, governor of California, was saying that it's a matter of weeks, not months, until they got like a 4-stage plan or whatever. Happened to hear like a clip of it or something, where like they're gonna open up like the more urgent things, the more important things are gonna open up, not the like frivolous things or whatever. And they're moving to the first stage of that. He said in weeks, not months.
That's-
which I think includes like schools. I think. I'm not sure.
Schools would be
Bad.
terrible.
That's bad.
I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like,
I guess the goal is to get the economy.
It doesn't seem
you
like
know.
the rate of infection has gone down that much. Like it seems like
I'm
it
not
hasn't
following
like
it. I
continued
don't
to
know.
rise, but it hasn't like really stopped.
It needs to. There's. I mean, I've seen so many videos at this point, but there's. I can just say like, oh, there's graphs.
There's graphs.
But there is a line below which the rate of infection is less than 1. So like it's infecting not even 1 person per day.
Sure.
Or you like per
on
new
average.
infection, you mean, right?
New infection, yeah.
Yeah,
So like you need to stay under that line for a certain amount of time for it to actually go away. And if you ever go above the line, it can just spiral out of control again. You need to keep it suppressed under that line so that it just continually goes down. It might be months.
Yeah.
But you can't let people congregate, and people are just doing it.
I don't think there's like any price too high to pay to like make this thing go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Time to
let's
get
just-
out the guns.
What's the worst case scenario though? The worst case scenario would be, let's say, well, okay, there's I guess 2 worst case scenarios. One that's not as bad is that like, let's just say theoretically, we've done all this stuff, we've closed stuff down, and then like even if we're cautious about trying to reopen, then like it just does exactly what it would have done anyway, and all of this was pointless, and that would be unfortunate. But I mean, that whatever. That would just be delaying the inevitable if that happened, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, the worst worst case scenario, at least in the U.S., I think is like 5 million dead. I don't remember. If
I
that
guess
was
in theory, maybe like we reopen the world and like it just didn't go. It never goes away. It just comes back and does what it was going to do anyway. Like in theory, that's
becomes a
possible. But
yearly
like
thing.
the goal is to wait until we have a vaccine. Like once we have a vaccine, that changes the equation.
True.
So
Although
I mean,
vaccine-
the longer
yeah,
we can put
that's
off a resurgence, like the more like people will be saved by an eventual vaccine, right?
I suppose. Although I mean, I've heard that like didn't they say that the goal of shutting down was not that they think that will stop more people from getting infected long term.
It's that it keeps the rate of infection under the point at which the medical system can handle the cases,
which
Yeah,
will
yeah.
help people live, like people who otherwise might not have gotten care they need to survive or whatever.
If we had
so, yeah.
infinite hospital space, then it would be the best idea to
Then
have everyone
technically
infected
it
all at
wouldn't
once.
matter.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
right,
that's
right.
true. I don't think that's true because you still will have people who will die regardless of care who could have been saved by a vaccine. Which, I mean,
well, I guess
we expect that we do
yeah.
expect that we will eventually have one.
Yeah, but I mean,
so like the longer we put off infecting people, the more people who would have died from an infection will not die.
But if we know that it's 18 months, though, like the question is just like, is it, can we really hold things to this degree for 18 months, assuming it comes at that time?
I don't know.
Because, I was going to say the other worst case scenario is like, I mean, the worst case scenario for me is like, okay, even if I'm not infected, but let's say that this just goes on and like businesses start to, fold because they're not making any money. And like my grocery store stops getting food because people are not getting paid and things. And then now I'm starving, even though I don't have the disease, and infrastructure is not being maintained. I mean, that's the worst case scenario.
It's interesting because it's like all this infrastructure exists, and food exists.
Yeah.
If like companies and things go bust, those are all like structures that don't literally exist. You can eventually get food to people like through volunteer work.
No. Oh my God, that's so wrong. That's so wrong because it's those businesses that are the foundation of getting that food to places. It's not like that food just would exist everywhere anyway. It's like in Factorio, you make your factory. If like a belt breaks and so your copper chips aren't getting to the place they need to be.
What I'm appealing to is that like people will band together to try and survive. It's not like we're all just going to sit at home and be like, well, I can't get food, I guess I'll starve. Like, people are going to try to, like, get food to people.
I mean, if my Whole Foods just, like, decided, well, we're not doing any... I mean, they are doing business, because people still need to buy food.
Right, now it's fine. It's not...
If they, like, folded and stopped, like, okay, like, I don't know, say every store closed, like, we would... I mean, they order their food from somewhere. So like I guess the city or something would have to like band together and like we would just have to start ordering the food ourselves, I guess. I don't know what would be done. But like the food,
it wouldn't be as efficient, obviously, because people would just have to like do a lot of the work that the companies did. But
I mean, I think it would be so inefficient that is absolutely the point where people start to just starve to death. Because I live in a city, man. I don't know where I'm going to get my food if the stores have it.
A city is a little different. I think that it would just be like I'm in my head. I'm thinking
cities
like
are where most people live, though.
Rural towns will be fine. Cities will not. They will. You can't organize an entire city.
There
without,
certainly
like,
will be.
system.
Yeah, the more dense, the bigger the problem. For sure.
I don't know. What if the city just like, okay, Whole Foods goes away for whatever reason, and then the town just gets to ordering, just like occupies the building that the Whole Foods used to be in, and just like buys the food themselves. Like basically we just subsidize the sale of food.
In this example that I'm trying to paint of the worst case scenario, it's that like the people who make the food like are not able to do that work anymore because that stuff is also shut down, and that's true of like industries across the country. Like, it's all motivated by
like farmers.
You mean like packaging, food processing factories and plants?
Like
and
the
stuff?
logistical stuff becomes really important when it comes to getting food from, like how many places do we grow corn in America? I assume like much of the Midwest, but it has to get to like Massachusetts where, okay, whatever, there's some corn there, but I don't know, fucking Washington State. Like, it has to get there in order for people to have the grain they need to make bread and stuff. And I'm just saying, that logistical system is an inherent part of the businesses that are currently... I mean, okay, most of those are still open now. I'm saying in the worst case scenario where, like, everything folds, those things would cease to operate in this example. And you could have things like, food not getting to people who need to eat every single day, quite a bit of it. So... that's just the apocalypse.
You just got to go on a diet. You just got to stop being fat.
It's just that our country exists on a structure of these industries functioning, and I think that like our population has grown because it depends upon that infrastructure. If that broke, maybe you think it's irresponsible to live this way. We could have that argument, but considering the system we're in right now, I think that's why people starve.
No, yeah.
Wait, irresponsible to live what way?
Well, like, okay, maybe I could just see like an argument that like humans never should have gone beyond like living like like you live on your land and grow your own food and don't depend on like a. I mean, obviously that's stupid. I'm just
dumb.
saying. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the only argument I can think of is like it pollutes the planet or something.
Yeah.
Well, I
Like
think
that all that infrastructure does bad thing to planet,
Well, it's
But I
not
don't
the,
think
it's
it's
not the
ultimately hurts
infrastructure
us.
itself that does it. I mean, we could have
Like the scale of infrastructure. I mean,
I think
like the
it's-
amount of like travel,
I think
like,
it's a little
the
more
exact same thing as like
complicated than that.
it's the exact same thing as like market bubbles. Like if it turns out you're doing things okay, well food is real. You can't fake food existing or not, whereas you can with currency. So it's a little bit different. But you can have
there's
bubbles that
there's a
form.
way to do like food production and distribution that does not pollute the planet as much.
Probably true. Probably true.
well,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I mean, as local as possible.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we're getting onto a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh,
what we
well-
should really do
Well,
is
this is
end
all
the
related
episode.
to.
Yeah, wait, no,
but
this
I
is all. This
like
is
to-
fine.
I mean,
This
you
is
keep
this is
going, you
relevant.
keep going.
Guess I'm wondering, like, I don't know. Is it like really feasible that like I don't know, the economy gets so bad that like farmers stop making crops and stuff?
Well,
Well, you're going to that example, but when my mind goes to the many like middle steps that are involved in getting corn from a farmer
like
to bread
trucking,
to
like
my
trucking,
grocery
like
store.
transport companies shutting down, like trucking companies and stuff.
Yeah, plus factories that like make the products and
Yeah.
like all that kind
and then
of stuff.
and there's all the things that the farmers need to buy, like the pesticides
yeah.
or whatever they use.
Yep.
They need fuel for their tractors. They need all sorts of things.
Indeed.
The farmers might be able to subsist by themselves by having a little
Sure.
garden.
You've got one old man in a very large field that's the size of the entire United States with one cow pulling his plow. It's like gotta feed my boys. Gotta grow some corn. Gotta
Okay.
gotta till
But
this
like
land.
these are like food and all that shit. These are necessities, and people are
Yes.
still buying them because they need them. So it's not.
I
like,
don't think we're anywhere near
Yeah.
like this point right now.
I don't.
No,
I don't
but-
really even. I would be surprised if like grocery stores are even like suffering in profit. They might even be making more now because they're essential businesses and restaurants are closed.
Well, that's true of them, but like Gib was saying, for example, gas prices have plummeted, and whatever. Who cares about what people think
that's
about
not
the gas
because of the
industry?
shutdown though. That's some like weird like international shit.
Oh.
I saw that like
Is
thing
it?
about gas
Okay.
prices being negative and like
I thought it's because nobody's driving anywhere. I thought
it's,
I
I
don't know.
think
Yeah.
there's more to it than that. It's
Okay,
not just
that's
because of
certainly
like
possible.
local like reduced demand.
Yeah, it's all over the world. that
Okay,
it's
okay.
changed.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not making any specific points or anything. I just think that I think that I don't agree with Ben's point, though.
What
that,
point?
Like, there's kind
What
of no.
point?
Well, I'm going way back. You said like there's kind of no cost due great, and I think there is a cost that could be such. That it's,
okay.
maybe that was hyperbole, but nonetheless.
I-
All
yeah,
right.
I
I guess
think-
if you're stipulating that what if it cost us our entire fucking societal infrastructure, well, maybe.
Well, that'd be my concern if that
Okay.
happened.
Yeah.
I guess.
I would
I
posit
guess.
that even after 18 months, it probably won't get to that point in any, like, at least with food.
No, I don't think. Like I said, I don't really think that these essential like food distributors are suffering too much. So it seems like the supply chains should be safe for the time being.
If you're
I
stipulating that let's-
suppose. I mean, I don't know for sure.
If if you're basically saying like, okay, let's shut down like theoretically like gatherings and like non-essential services and whatnot, but obviously leave open the things we literally need to live. I mean, there's an argument to be made that like, oh, who's to say what you need to live? Blah blah blah. Who the fuck cares about that? I basically, I could be warm to that argument. That's not unreasonable. That's
I mean, that's what
makes
we're
sense.
doing, right? Like that's what the shutdown is.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are like losing businesses and stuff, and like if you just started a restaurant and it
Like
goes
water
on,
park businesses.
like yeah, those are having a tough time. If you like, I mean, look, America's a big place. I'm sure somewhere out there,
I understand
there's somebody
that
who
if
like
you just
invested
start-
lots of money,
Yeah.
in like a new business, and this was terrible timing. And like, if you just let COVID run, yes, people would die. This is just an example. I'm not for this. But like, because the government forced things to close, like this investment didn't work out, like maybe the contract's revoked, and like they've lost tons of money in the opportunity, and they're like starting from scratch on their business, and it's awful for this person financially. That that impacts like their community.
I don't
and
know,
the
man.
society.
Like, what? Why are you? Why
am I concerned about people's well-being?
Yeah, like if on the one hand like people die, and on the other hand like some aspiring restaurateurs lose their investments, like. what is there really a comparison to be drawn there?
Yes, because it's not about just one person losing like one's life savings. Although, I mean, who are we to decide? I mean, the president or the people in charge have to decide, but who are we to decide what's more important? Someone like us choosing
literally
to prioritize
dying versus someone losing their startup capital.
That's such an overly simplistic view of it.
That's the situation you just described.
Look, you're not even talking about how much are we actually going to prevent it? Like, you're relying on a vaccine 18 months that might not even happen. And that's too long for us to stay in the current situation.
You cut out what might not happen?
We might not even develop a vaccine, potentially. And 18 months is too long to stay like we're doing like this. Because, I mean, I think it would start to impact the infrastructure at a certain point, and people will start to not get food if the economy that functions as the structure that props up our civilization, is overly taxed and is not generating revenue. Like in Factoria, when you run out of a resource and you can't keep your factory going.
I'm saying that as long as the essential businesses are still functioning, which they are, then those essential things are not going to that part of the infrastructure is not going to collapse because it's still functioning.
I would argue I don't think it's as simple as the essential businesses are able to function in a vacuum that way because there's so many other factors.
Well, not in a vacuum, but I think for the 18 months or so, it would be all right for at least the essentials. Like, maybe all restaurants will die, but once COVID-19, hopefully we got a vaccine, people are out and about, obviously demand for restaurants and stuff like that will come back, and then, it'll be like Bubba Gump Shrimp makes the biggest restaurant in the world, because he's the only one.
Yeah.
And, it'll figure it out. People are smart.
I mean, I agree.
Resourceful is the word I meant, but also smart. Resourceful. They can make a mountain
out of a
molehill.
I just find the idea that obviously we need to do whatever it takes, up to a point of ruining civilization permanently for everyone or whatever, to stamp it out. That just seems really simplistic to not consider the long-term ramifications of what such a thing would do.
I mean, I'm just concerned about the human cost first, I guess.
As am I. That's exactly my point.
Well, I'm just saying, okay.
Is the only thing that matters whether someone is alive or dead, and quality of life and the ability to flourish has nothing to do with it?
I would say that being alive, trumps most other considerations, yes.
Well, that's because you're thinking too one-dimensionally.
What explain yourself.
I mean, you're thinking about an immediate cost and not at all thinking about the long-term cost. When someone gets a fucking...
Well, I think...
No, continue. No,
continue.
The
long-term cost... All right, yeah, sure.
When economic downturns happen, suicides also go up. Should we count those deaths too, or do those not count because they're later, they're not now?
I guess they should be counted.
I agree. Now there's a balancing act. Life for life.
What causes suicides to go up in an economic downturn? Is it just that people have just people having less money lead to more suicide?
I mean, for example, that business going up example I said before, if you've squandered your life saving on something, look, I mean, there's infinite reasons. It is a known fact when the economy is bad, people are sadder, and they definitely will kill themselves more. I mean, I don't know why we need to go into why that is. It simply is. But for example, if you lose your money in an investment in something because the economy has absolutely tanked, I could see somebody killing themselves. I mean, I'm not recommending it. It just seems to be the case.
Well, okay, so I guess we're just gonna let these people who would kill themselves rather than lose their money, let's hold our fucking economy hostage then.
Should we let the people who are vulnerable to the disease hold the world hostage?
Are you fucking kidding me? Do you think that's the same?
Life for life? Yes, that is the same. Life
one
for
is
life.
One is a choice, and the other is just a person who was born with a vulnerability to a disease. They didn't choose it.
Yeah, the suicide, it's not like a very obvious choice.
The government is choosing to prioritize some issue over another. You are the psychopath, Ben, because you just don't understand the ramifications of these
You don't
choices.
understand why someone killing themselves of their own volition because they lost all their money. You don't understand how that's a different situation from someone being killed by a disease that they just happen to have a genetic predisposition to be vulnerable to.
Ben, we're talking politics here. Let's be slightly more mature than just,
no.
you're going to kill somebody with a choice.
suicide is not a good example for the argument you're trying to make, Nate. If you want to say that like there's bigger ramifications to like shutting down the economy, like it's just if you shut down an economy for X amount of time to the point where things start breaking down, like you were talking about earlier, that can have a knock-on effect that can like fuck up people's lives, that can lead to deaths. Because like if everything gets shut down and like the pharmacies have to close because there's no way for them to stay in business, and people can't get their medication and they die from that, like at some point, if we just keep everything shut down and all those businesses end up closing, like the deaths that result from inaccess to business is going to eclipse the deaths that would happen naturally from COVID. So the point here is that like if we keep the economy shut down long term, what are the unseen at this point ramifications long term of having all these businesses shuttered versus what is the long term effects of having everything reopen and potentially leading to more infections from COVID? Those are two numbers that we can't predict either way because it's so complicated. But like that's the equation that's at play here.
I'm just saying that it seems reasonable to me that if a truly essential business is, you know, continuing to operate, you know, people are still doing business with them because they offer an essential service that people can't go without. So I don't see why the pipelines and the infrastructure undermining the essential businesses would be too much affected if they're still doing business and whatever they offer is still just as essential as it ever was.
Well, I think that's the important thing to keep in mind is that like when we talk about because like I mean there's a lot of people who are arguing to reopen the country right now and saying how like, oh, if we just keep the country shut down, everything's going to collapse. And like true to a certain degree, but I think if we let's say it does take another 18 months before we can get a vaccine and we're like we have to keep the country closed for another 18 months. It's not like we're just going to like run in a straight line and do the exact same thing. If we start noticing that like there's like weaknesses in the structure as it is, we can make subtle adjustments to try and keep things open and reallocate resources to keep the balancing act going as long as it takes. So
besides, there's also a false dichotomy going on of either kill people or open the economy, or maybe whatever. Maybe I'm fucking that up. But like, there are different approaches to it. I don't know. I fucking heard that South Korea had a pretty good system that worked out decently well, which was about like the able-bodied young people go out and they do their jobs while taking preventative measures, and the people who are vulnerable stay home.
Didn't they just do like a fuck ton of early? Didn't they do a fuck ton of early testing in South Korea?
Well, that also sounds like a good idea. I mean, whatever.
They
maybe
had like
they had like
drive-through testing. Yeah, I mean the problem is that we sat on our fucking asses and didn't really do anything to prepare for something like this. And of course, we also, I believe it was the Trump administration that decided to disband the pandemic response team. So we didn't even have one of those. So it's just, there was a lot of like mitigating circumstances that put us in a bad position. Not to mention that, of course, we have a healthcare system that's reliant on employment. And when no one is employed, no one has healthcare. So it's just, you know, we kind of just don't have a good response for this in any way, shape, or form.
I would say that if a business is not essential, then I don't care if it goes out of business, if keeping it closed is going to reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Well, here's the thing that really pisses me off, right, about this fucking business shit, is this that, you know, how many fucking years has it been beaten into our brains that it's just like, oh, well, if you don't have a fucking contingency plan, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, that's a problem with you. Stop buying your avocado toast and your fucking $5 lattes and be prepared for something. And then like literally as soon as these businesses like don't have money for a month, they're all like, oh, we need to be bailed out by the government.
Bailed out,
well, maybe you shouldn't have had so much avocado toast, airlines, you motherfuckers.
I see threads on like landlords saying like, oh, I'm so scared. Like, oh no, like my tenants can't pay. Like, what am I going to do? Like, this is bullshit. And it's like, well, you invested in a home to rent. Like, that's an investment carries risk. You are not obligated. Like, yeah, if your tenant defaults, your investment didn't pay off. This is how, and the same with like businesses, but you know, they get bailouts and stuff.
That's true.
That's true. That's just how, I'm sorry. What was the point we were talking about? I just got really upset. Thinking about landlords.
I don't know. All kinds of things about this. But
I guess my final thought is that I just really want them to contain the spread of COVID-19 and for as much as possible. And I think that we should if keeping shit locked down will do it. I'm probably in favor of it unless I'm shown like some really strong evidence that like no. But if we don't open it up in this time frame, then the loss of infrastructure will cause, food deserts, which will cause starvation and and the human cost will be even greater, and we have strong evidence in favor of it. That's what it would take. That's what it would take to convince me that maybe reopening is like a good idea.
Look, I'm not trying to make a large overbearing point here, but it's like, for example, if we banned peanuts, some people who are allergic would be better off, but we don't. Why? Why don't we do that? No one needs peanuts to live. You could definitely do that because we've decided that it's just not worth it. The cost is too great, and it's just fucking peanuts. We don't even need peanuts. We just like them, so we keep them around.
Well,
I mean, the thing is that me eating peanuts doesn't potentially could infect other people, who can't handle peanuts as well. The reason we're shutting down the economy is because this virus is highly transmissible, and we don't have a vaccine for it yet.
How is this not an apt fucking example? Explain to me why this example is not totally... I'm aware it's not exactly the same thing. It's just a thing people we keep it around.
Because
but there is a danger to some people.
There is a fixed amount of people who are deathly allergic to peanuts. This is a virus that potentially everybody can carry and transmit. It is much more of a big deal.
So it's just that it's a big deal. Even though we could
also,
definitely
everybody
do
in this call right now is not allergic to peanuts. Everybody in this call right now could potentially catch, be affected by, or transmit COVID-19.
That's just argument for scale. That's all that is.
Scale's important in this equation.
I agree.
The fucking Jesus Christ. Okay, the peanut thing is a strange analogy because peanuts are, they're nice and stuff. But the economy is not just nice; it's important. You can't.
That's exactly why I said peanuts, because you don't even need them, but you do need the economy.
I don't know. I don't get.
Wait, where are we going with that?
It was a very strange thing. I don't fucking.
Cars killed tons of people. Fatty foods killed tons of people. We could theoretically get rid of any of these
fucking
things.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you can't drive a car in a bus or on a train.
What?
Correct.
You can't drive a car inside.
Unless you were driving
You can transmit the virus anywhere to anyone.
Correct. I agree. But also, car crashes have killed so many more people.
Car crashes are not transmissible.
Right.
Yes, they are. When you crash into someone, you just transmitted that car crash onto that person when you weren't looking where you were going.
You
transferred.
You don't know what the word means.
Never mind.
Transmitted directly into their fucking skull, shattered them into 10,000 pieces.
It's just the flu thing. This is the flu kills more people. Car crashes kill more people.
All right, I'm done. I want to look at this leave.
There's nothing to do with that. I don't know. I'm not downplaying it at all. I'm just saying, is the cost worth paying? I don't know.
I'm just saying it's not that big a deal, and we should reopen the economy. I mean, is that what you're saying? Just say it.
I'm saying, just don't be one-sided and blind about it.
Am I? It is. Why?
Yeah. I mean,
my position.
You clearly are very scared of this thing and don't want it to be out there to get you.
What a wacky thing.
That wasn't what Ben was saying. That
yeah, but we all know that is his point.
If evidence came there.
You gotta. We all know. Nate knows my position better than I do.
All right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving this fucking call if I can't say the fucking thing I was gonna say.
No, please continue. Please say it. I just wanted to highlight what Nate said just there, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Ben was not being one-track minded. He's been saying this whole time that if evidence was showing that the deaths for the economy being shut would be higher, then he would change his mind. But proceeding in with the idea that currently and for some certain amount of time in the foreseeable future, he'd prefer things to be closed. That's not one-track minded. That's not blind to the ramifications of the economy being shut. He's just saying right now, I'd rather things be shut.
I'm just saying I would need to see strong evidence that opening would carry less of a human cost than closing.
I get that. I don't default to let's close the world, and then maybe we'll give people their freedom back.
I really appreciate how you've been like slyly pretending to be for the shutdown this whole time, and just kind of waiting for like an opportunity to like mask off, like come out and say what you really think.
You're a Spen. Everyone's a Nazi except you. You've discovered the secret. You have figured it out.
But I'm glad you finally feel comfortable. I'm glad we've coaxed it out of you.
How would I be more comfortable now than at the beginning of this discussion, Ben? What have you guys
said?
It took
you this long to just come out and say it.
Ben, my point is always, and has been from the start, I guess Ben gets to be nuanced. Nate doesn't get to be nuanced, though, because he has any objections to Ben's total defense of one side of the argument.
That's the point you're making?
Yes, that's correct.
You did a weird job of making it.
Well, whoopsie daisy.
So what's your nuanced point, Nate?
My nuanced point is that I'm seeing way too many people, especially you, saying that we just need to close everything down and we'll wait until the science comes out to prove that it's okay to open things up. And I'm just thinking, that doesn't seem fair.
Did you listen to what Gibbs said? Like, are you even listening?
I mean, I heard his interpretation of your thoughts, yes, and I don't quite agree with them.
Ben did say exactly that a couple minutes ago. He did say if he was presented with evidence that the human cost would be greater with a shutdown, he would change his position.
Fair enough. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's totalitarian.
What the fuck?
Wait, how is that totalitarian? Wait, I don't understand what you mean.
At the first sign of trouble, we close everything down, and then we go back and we slowly give people their freedoms back. Look, I am fine with the amount of closure that we've had so far. I don't think it's unreasonable. What I'm trying to say is, I think, California is starting to open up right now. Clearly, they've done some calculations. They're giving it a couple weeks or whatever.
Why are you assuming that it's a good idea? Like, they probably shouldn't do that.
I just don't know why you would assume that when I guarantee you have less information. And this is California. I mean, they're pretty, they're pretty on the side of making sure people don't get hurt by this thing. Seems like a pretty reasonable approach to me. I probably would have done it faster, but, that's
I don't know. I mean, the governor and stuff might want to open it. I'm
of course,
pretty
they
sure
have an incentive to get the economy going, right? I understand.
I'm pretty sure that every governor does. Medical professionals say closure is safer.
Of course it's safer, but so it's also safer to, it's not a car thing, but to never drive a car, to never go outside. These are all safer. The question is it reasonable? Is it a good idea?
Well, look, if like doctors are saying don't reopen and politicians and bankers or whatever are saying reopen, I'm going to trust the doctors.
Doctors have a predisposition to be extremely cautious, and I mean, it's totally fair to hear their perspective, but I mean, I was fucking watching Star Trek the other day. The doctor says, do X, Y, Z, or you'll be dangerous. They're like, sorry, we've got a mission. Got to put myself in a little bit of danger. Like, I understand that it's the whole world population that's at stake to a degree, but also look at the death rate. I mean, yes, it's high. It seems like the numbers might be significantly lower for how many people actually die, because probably way more people have it than we know right now. And die of it as a result of it or whatever. Right. But it's a complex equation.
The thing that South Korea did was they overreacted, but they didn't... Well, yeah, they overreacted to the thing, which is the right thing to do for a pandemic. The best thing that could have happened is that people in the future will say, oh, you overreacted to that virus. It wasn't a big deal. The reason it wasn't a big deal was because they overreacted. They don't have as many cases. They've closed everything. They're pretty, they're pretty set. Borders are gone. Well, closed. The fact that this is a big deal is because people thought it wasn't a big deal, and they're paying for it. And so I think caution is an important thing. In order to quash the virus, you need to continue to be cautious for at least a few months beyond at this point. You can't start opening things and expecting everything to be okay.
Right. I mean, we've had other pandemics, and we've gotten to this point before where it's like, oh, everything seems to be okay now. We should reopen back up. And there's a second wave and it spikes even more than the first time. So will that happen now? We don't fucking know. And that's why people want to err on the side of caution.
It definitely will. Until it if it's still like a thing at all, then reopening will definitely cause a spike. I read that this happened in like the 1918 flu pandemic. They held like a parade as soon as they reopened the city, and like it immediately caused like a second spike in infections.
Sure.
If you want to be, thinking like, when is the soonest point we can reopen? I would say, let's try 4 months from now.
Oh, I just think you
Start
guys are
reopening
too
things.
cautious. I mean,
Why
you're just
4?
making these numbers up. You're just making them up.
I am making these. No, I don't have any information.
None
But
of
I
us
feel
do.
like right now, it's like a little bit apparent that like people are still. There's still stories coming out of like religious groups congregating because they say, "Oh, we need to pray." They all get COVID, or like, most of them get COVID. It's like it's still a thing that's very clearly happening.
The graphs that I see don't suggest that it's like. I mean, it's flattening a bit, but it's not like really on the decline, which is very concerning. And I would want it to be like way down. I would want it to be like way down before like we reopened. And like I don't know. I think like keeping essential businesses open, like that's already like a compromise. That's already like a pretty solid compromise.
worth
Like
taking,
okay, well
I
we
think.
can't close. Well, we can't close everything, right? We'll keep food open. We'll keep I don't know, whatever else is considered
Hospitals.
essential.
I don't know.
Yeah, that stuff. Like good, like great. It's a reasonable.
I think
middle ground.
I think it's just you can be too cautious, but I don't think right now is too cautious. Like what? Like the sort of like wait for a little bit. Like it's still like what it was like December. So it's only 4 months in.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I feel like we could wait until summer starts.
I don't know.
I
I'm
just
aware
wanna
of
wait
how
until the-
unusual this is. This is a very strange situation that I don't think. I mean, when's the last time anything like this has happened in human history? It's very
It's
unusual.
before all of us and our parents were alive. Nobody really remembers. It was
Sure.
Spanish flu time. That's the most recent time, and nobody was alive then.
That was like
from
World
then.
War One.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I was gonna say something else. I just would want to see. I would want to see data. I would want to have doctors say like, okay, well, you know, new infection rates are down enough that like it's been like relatively contained, and whatever. I don't know. I just want fucking. I want medical
perhaps the other
professionals to be
degree-
like, yeah, reopening's safe now.
I think the degree that makes me think differently is that I have less faith that like we can do anything in a reasonable amount of time, which doesn't make me think that everyone should run it and open everything. But that's like, okay, surely we can find some equation that minimizes risk as much as possible and like puts people who are like more resilient to the disease or whatever who are in, you know, more important spots. Obviously, you prioritize important things and you see how it goes for a little bit. I think locking it. I think the way that we have it now is a little bit over blanket. It's not nuanced enough. And
I mean, people who are less likely to die from it,
young people,
can still carry it.
Right.
That's certainly
that's
true.
The big problem, you know.
But
like,
I mean, it's going to be you put precautions in place. People still wear masks. They take care of
think
themselves.
The thing with like the nuance is that the government can't account for people not following the rules correctly.
right, I mean, we're already seeing that happen.
Like if a person like they live with an elderly relative, if they can go out and do their job, they're not going to think they potentially might not think that they can get the virus, not feel it, and then bring it home and then kill their grandparents.
Especially since you have
they should
it's like
just
a
know
week
better.
long
Like that's
incubation
it. That's a
period.
specific situation. It's not going to be everyone,
Sure.
but it's like you can't account for all these possible complications.
I mean, like,
And I think for like
I agree.
to start off with a blanket, you know, like nobody goes
Do you know-
outside is a pretty good start.
Do you-
I like all right. What would the first wave of like opening things up be? What sort of jobs are you thinking?
I don't know. I suppose any kind of I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't really know. I mean, I wouldn't. I guess things like
General retail?
Yes, because general retail does not cram tons of people. Like I'm thinking like a school strikes me as a bad idea. Probably that's too many people in close proximity. And yes, people come in and out of a store in a day, but they're not necessarily close together. People can wear masks and take preventative measures. They can.
I mean, stores are technically
sanitize.
open right now. They're just doing like curbside pickup.
I just think,
Well,
okay,
food stores.
if a business is not essential, what is the argument for reopening it while a pandemic is still happening?
Because the pandemic will go on for like months, if not years.
The risk is that
I ask again, if a business is not essential, what is the argument for reopening it?
Because the non-essential business is still essential to that person who's running it, like income.
Yeah, it's called freedom, baby. That's what it is.
It's called freedom. Well, not if it spreads fucking COVID.
I understand these are unusual times. I just don't think we should completely throw it out the window.
All right. I think the way that
you can run your fucking
I'm down to negotiate.
You can run your fucking a delicatessen or whatever. You can run your friggin' a hair salon after the fucking disease is dealt with.
I mean,
how many businesses can survive 18 months of zero revenue? Look, I don't know how expenses work, but I assume you pay rent or something. These are issues. These are issues that maybe if Trump can just pay for it all, great. I
they're
suspect
working
that
on
won't happen though.
Plans, which may or may not fuck everything up.
I just am struggling to care if a non-essential business goes out of business. I'm sorry for the person that invested. I'm sorry for someone that invested a lot in it. But like, if it's that or spread COVID or don't spread COVID-19, I'm sorry. I gotta go for the one that means less people die.
I just think you can make that argument for a lot of things. Not about cars or fucking whatever I was talking about before. I think there are plenty of things you can make that argument for, but we don't. And as I said, there's a negotiation to be had about what are appropriate measures.
I think something that really kind of hammers home like the potential of the infection of this disease is patient 31 from South Korea. There was this one lady that they refer to as patient 31. Who was diagnosed with COVID, and they told her to like isolate and stay away from people and don't fucking go around and stuff. And she didn't. She went to like a buffet and a bunch of other things, and they've traced it back, and they realized this one lady was responsible for indirectly infecting over 80,000 people from just going around that one day. The people she made contact with, the people they made contact with, eventually resulted in 80,000 infections of COVID from one person not staying inside.
Well, not to be callous about it, but things like that make me wonder what we can really do to stop it practically. If, like, that's all it takes, even with things close to the degree they are now, which I would argue is,
if that is one person,
as close as it can get.
If we have 100 million people going around doing their daily business, you're going to infect a ton of people. And the problem is right now we don't have a vaccine. There's no real, like, good, solid treatment for it yet, which is why it's different from the flu. You get the flu, we have treatments for it, and we have vaccines to prevent people from getting infected in the first place. We have nothing for this yet. And that's why they're telling everybody to stay inside and to shutter all these businesses, is because they're trying to just buy time to get a vaccine so we can actually kind of like have a handle on this.
But we already know it's going to be like a year and a half to 2 years. There's no chance of it becoming shorter than a year from now. So the question just becomes, what do we do in that year or two or whatever?
We'll just have to play it by ear and see what happens.
I agree. I agree.
Because like not everything is completely closed right now. Like you could have, if you're a business, like if you're running a business right now and you're fucked because of COVID, like you could sit there and cry and wait for government handouts, or you could be like, okay, how do I adapt my business to like working remotely? Like that's the whole kind of like deal of being a business, is like you have to adapt to market changes. Like that's been true
for many
even
businesses.
Before COVID.
That's fair. I think there's got to be just as many businesses that, like, if you run a factory and it's closed, what are you going to do? There's nothing else. There's no remoting in to operating something like that. Or maybe there is. I don't know. I leave it to people smarter than me.
That's why it has to be one of those things we just kind of like figure out as we go.
Regardless of what happens, there will be casualties, whatever choice is made.
I think so.
I think it's just you gotta stick it out. You gotta tough it out, at least until we get a vaccine.
That's too long. No, you can't do that. Okay, to a degree.
What do you mean it's too long?
Okay, if you meant like to the degree we're at now.
How long is too long?
I think that if the level that we're at now went on for 18 months. I mean, look, no one's done this before, so we don't know. But I suspect that would be the level of like, okay, now things are seriously starting to get fucked.
So you're on your suspicion that 18 months would end the economy, destroy our infrastructure. On your suspicion that that's the case, you think we should reopen, as opposed to our suspicion that but you'll make fun of our suspicion that reopening will kill people as like, oh well, you don't know. Everyone's probably already got it already. The mortality rate's not as high as they're reporting.
Well, I appreciate you not making fun of my position whatsoever, first of all. But yes, that's pretty much it.
Well, stupid. Okay, whatever.
Thank God I have no power here and don't have to even think about it or do anything. And I will just continue to do
I'm super glad
nothing.
you do not get a say in this because sounds like you make up your mind without really thinking very hard about stuff.
A scathing retort as always, Ben.
That's right.
Are we done?
I guess we're
guess
done.
so.
I think we're done. All
I'm
right.
pretty
well, there's
sick
no-
of this argument, that's
everybody.
for sure.
Indeed. Indeed. Coofcast done. Podcast bonus episode 37 is complete. Go listen to it and don't listen to any of the advice here because it's all bad. Don't ask anyone. No one knows what they're talking about.
My advice is pretty good.
Okay.
Mine's pretty solid.
I mean, if you are the United States
I'm
government,
not even giving advice.
listen to Ben.
The only advice I'm giving to the listener is wash your hands, wear a mask, whatever.
Wear a hat.
Social distancing.
Yeah, all those things are definitely something you should do every time you go out, and there is no reason not to.
Oh, did you see that gator, that neck gator that I ordered that has my purple face on it?
What's a neck gator?
It's like a cloth that like it goes around your neck and you pull it up over your like lower face.
Okay.
Well, I
did
made
not see it.
one it's like a cop killer thing. It's got my like purple face and green teeth and it's grinning and it looks really weird and I got it and I'm too embarrassed to wear it out in public.
Understandable.
So- 'cause
Oh,
it's-
pussy.
So I turned it backwards so I can't see the
But
face
Ben,
part and it's
there's
just black.
nobody around. Nobody'll see it except for like 3 people.
That's not true. There's like I go to Whole Foods and there's like a line and I gotta wait in line and there's other people in there and there's people that work there. No, these are people I'll have to
this
see
is
again.
what, no. You want to do that because if you look really weird and gross, they'll social distance away from you.
I already look really weird and gross.
Well, then there's no problem.
Got me there.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, I don't want anything like after the pandemic. I don't want people. Oh, you're that guy who had that weird like face on his face.
It's
I
like,
don't
oh
wanna be-
god, I
Or his
wish
own
I
face on his
died.
face.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to get a reputation.
That's
Nah, you do.
no. You're wise. You're wise to do that, Ben. I have a hat that says "Best Guy Ever" on it. My wool hat. I'm kind of embarrassed to wear it sometimes. I did like it's the dad jokeness of "Best Guy Ever" is too strong, and I wish it was far more subtle. I want another one that just says BGE. That would be far less embarrassing. And I have
Like for just a random schmo to wear a hat that says "Best Guy Ever" is like very. It's pretty cringe.
I don't even.
would
It's
say.
even more cringe for me to do it because it's like it's kind of like a joke, but it seems serious and
Yeah, it seems
know?
serious
No, I think
because
it's
you.
less
you
cringe for you to do
I
it.
think so.
I think
It's
randomly
your
if
brand.
no, but like if you saw Nate, like he's reasonably presentable, he looks pretty good. Wearing the best guy ever hat might seem like a serious like, yeah, I think I'm the best guy ever. But if it was a fat old man wearing like best guy ever, then it would be funny because it's obviously self-aware.
Right. Without the context, it would be cringe.
I think the context excuses it.
Yeah, but Nate saying nobody around him in his immediate area would know the context. Therefore,
well, that's definitely that's true.
Sure.
but still,
I agree that to the average person it would seem cringe. To me, my impression of it is that it's
I agree.
fine because I know the
I
context.
get that, but I feel like something like a sexy grandpa or number one dad would be far less embarrassing than like something that seems like different. Like, why does this guy got to be different and say something that nobody says? Like, best guy, what? Like, what? I mean, it's not. I'm not trying to say it's unique. I'm saying it's not a culturally known term that people use, like sexy grandpa. So I would much prefer something like that, which the people love. That's my point. That's how
I
I
guess
feel.
I could see that.
So that's why I have social anxiety, everybody, and I cry. I cry every day.
I've just been wearing the masks that Mom made. Did Mom give you any of these?
She sent
cloth
me a
masks
bunch
that
of
she
masks.
made?
We've been wearing them when we go to the store and all kinds of stuff, and they're great.
I wear them. I got like 4 of them.
Hey, he's
They're
a
pretty good.
Coofcast relevant
They're black,
thing.
red, and white. I look like an Antifa super soldier. It's very cool.
Did I tell you that when I was at the store buying food or whatever, groceries and stuff, like a lady who was working there who's not wearing a mask just came up to me and was like, "Hey, excuse me, like where'd you get that mask?" I was like, "Oh, my mom made it." She's like, "Can I get some?" I was like, maybe. You want me to like give her your number and you can talk to her?" And she was like, "Yeah." So she gave me her number. I
Wow.
passed on to Mom. For all I know, Mom's
That would
made
be-
a bunch.
That would be really funny.
Did I mention that Mom said that I think one of her sisters, I forget which one, had already like taken on an order for like 100 masks for some like Facebook group that wanted people to make them. So
Yeah,
Mom
there's
was
a
like
lot of
not
people
even
doing
surprised
that.
to hear this. Yeah.
I don't remember. Did anyone in our family get the coronavirus?
Maybe me.
Did
For all
like
I
a
know.
relative
I don't
of a
know.
relative? I don't. I feel like I might have heard something, but I don't remember.
Don't know.
I don't fucking know.
We
Yeah.
all got the
Stay safe,
coronavirus.
everybody.
We all got it at RadCon. We're all immune now. We got those antibodies.
I was
possible.
so scared for like 2 weeks after RadCon. I was sure we were all going to come down.
See, I did feel
Yeah.
sick after RadCon.
Me too.
I had like
I
a
mean-
cold.
yeah,
a
but it
little
wasn't Corona-ish.
No.
bit. Yeah,
I had that legendary debilitating illness that killed me.
right.
Yeah,
That's true. And that was rough.
But if
That
it
was
was
just
Corona, we all would
that was
had
just
it.
plain diarrhea. That was just like I was on a plane and somebody gave me diarrhea by shitting all over my
I've
face.
heard of that.
That's why I'm excited to start my keto gummy operation, because sugar-free gummies, they're all made with bullshit like maltitol, which gives you crazy diarrhea. I am going to make mine with like fucking soluble tapioca fiber. You will not get diarrhea from my gummies. I won't use xylitol. I won't use
good.
monk fruit.
no,
This
no.
stuff
heaven
all
forbid.
gives me the runs, and I hate it. No, I'm going to use stevia. I'm going to use other weird shit. And you're going to
Stevia
love
is
it.
based.
Stevia is based.
I should use
Citric
more.
acid is based. Malic acid is based. I can't find malic acid. The only fruit acid I can find is citric, which is fine, but it won't give me a complete flavor profile. Grapes have tartaric acid.
All right. Well, that's it. We're done for
I
the
guess
day.
that's it. We're at 2 hours.
2
now.
hours,
That's twice
that's-
what I want. Well, we're twice what we planned to go for.
That's true. That's true. More than you deserve. That's what I know for sure.
Easily.
So that's
Even in these
37.
trying
You
times, we
enjoy?
over-deliver.
Indeed.
Tell your friends about the value you get, about the bang for your buck.
I don't think that Ben is a freedom-destroying hippie.
Well, it sounds like you do, Nate. Everything you say, like, assumes that I'm just coming from a place of like, oh, I'm just a tanky and I want to just
No.
Look,
Ben,
federalize
I don't think
the
you're
economy.
a tanky. I think you're a coward. Okay, that was a joke. I
Cool.
don't mean that. But
Sounded totally sincere.
I do think you approach something such as this from a position of personal fear, which I understand, and I also share it to a degree.
I'll admit.
I don't blame
will
you
admit
for.
to being.
It's reasonable.
I will admit to being terrified by the spread of the pandemic.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
That much is true.
I would hope, Ben, I would hope that you can agree that Nate does not have no value of human life. I have no capital. Okay, I guess I have like $2,500 in stock or whatever that I'm sure did tank. I don't care. I just want the world to not die. And it seems to me that there's multiple sides to it besides just the immediate death.
I don't think that you have zero value of human life.
Sure,
I
okay.
just think that
Might be too little
If you-
on the low side.
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that probably it should come first in our calculations of like okay, I understand. I see what I really don't get, Nate.
Okay.
What I really don't get
so
is
close to
what the
ending.
problem is, because I acknowledge the importance of keeping essential businesses open and of not letting, essential supply lines go to seed and degrade to the point that like these things are no longer available and our infrastructure is gone. Because that would have a human cost to it. So like, if I'll grant you that, what more do you want?
I
You know,
suppose-
I'm making concessions here.
I guess
to
that's
like
true.
things that we should consider as, aside from just the virus is scary. Like, yeah, sure, but other things could be worse potentially.
I suppose I feel at that point that that's where it becomes the friction of priorities and the friction of different perspectives on the issue that, oh, well, why don't you prioritize my favorite thing, Ben, as opposed to your favorite thing?
My favorite thing is
People being alive.
human
yeah.
life.
Not me, buddy. Not me.
Cool, yeah.
I don't know. There is no competing factor here other than human life might be best preserved potentially in other ways. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay,
We've made our points.
Whatever.
We've made our points. So.
Whatever, it's fine.
All right.
It's all fine.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The full gambit. I'm Game Grumps, and you're Chumps.
Game
Right?
Grumps.
What is this?
The other Game Grumps.
Right.
And we're the Game Grumps.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. All right, we'll see you next time with another bonus episode. Okay, goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.